music lovers, thrill seekers, and conversationalists all across the fruited plain. It's another busy broadcast day here at the EIB Network on Friday.
And now, from sunny South Florida, it's Open Line Friday!
Yes, sir, Bob. Here we go. This is your day, folks. Monday through Thursday, this show is all it's all mine any day, but on Thursday, Monday through Thursday, you got to talk about what I want to talk about if you're going to get on the program. And there's one exception. I never talk about myself. But Snerdley has let a lot of people on this week who have wanted to talk about me. That's okay. On Friday, though, whatever you want to talk about is fine. Here's the telephone number, 800-282-2882, and the email address, lrushmo@eibnet.com. Look, I don't want to... Let's not bore you. That's not the word. I don't want to wear anybody out. And I don't know what the fatigue factor is. I frankly... I hear people talking about they just want this election over. People in Ohio, Virginia, and Florida just want this election over. You know what? I think that's the Obama people who want this election over. I want the election to happen, but I'm not tired of this. I can sit here every day telling people the truth about this country. I can sit here every day telling you what I fear if Obama's reelected until everybody agreed with me, until everybody heard me. I am not worn out defending this country. I'm not worn out informing people about the fears that I have regarding Obama, the Democrat Party. I want the election over because I want to win it. I want to start moving forward. I want to stop this regression that we're in. Economic recession, this silly transformation of America that Obama has undertaken. We want to get busy and start reversing this. But I hear in the media, CNN today, well, people are really getting tired of the election. I don't doubt that there are people tired of the election. I think it's mostly the people really just want this all done with and over with are people who are probably more aligned with Obama. And that's because they're not feeling good about it. The polls are out. Rasmussen's out today. It's a dead heat, 48-48. Yesterday, it was Romney up 2. So... There's not one pollster out there sticking his neck out. Not one. The only thing that you can say about these polls is that in none of them is Obama at 50. And that matters. When the incumbent is not at 50. That's a rule of thumb. So is the rule of thumb about who wins independence, wins the election. And in all these polls, I don't care what the overall result is. In all the polls, it's Romney up, for the most part, double digits. Not in all, but in many of them, double digits in independents. The enthusiasm and the momentum, there's no question where it is. It is for Romney. Just this morning, Obama was in Hilliard, Ohio. It's outside a larger city in Ohio. And the crowd was a measly 2,800 for the President of the United States on the last weekend before Election Day. Fire department told Fox News you had 2,800 people here. So they asked the campaign about this. Well, you only got 2,800 people. And by the way, Obama's in an open collar shirt and a flight jacket. And Romney was making his speech today, and it was just a bang-up speech. I had a guy send me a note that he would have paid to get in to hear this speech today. It was Romney talking about this country and our future and where we're going and where he's going to take us. It was uplifting. It was inspirational. Obama is none of that. And Romney's out there in a suit and tie. Side by side, in terms of who looks like they already are president, looks like Romney. But all this stuff is still surface. You can't draw any conclusion from it. All you can do is plug it into what your best thinking is and what you think you know. And then you tell yourself where we think we are. I don't see any Obama momentum. I don't see any Obama enthusiasm. I don't even really see much from him. I got Clinton out there. Clinton's out there saying, what did he say? He said, I may be the only one in America, but I think I am more excited about Barack Obama now than I ever have been. That's not an exact quote, but he said it's pretty close. I may be the only guy in America, but he did say that. But I think the Obama people want this election over. The rest of us want Obama over, and that is what keeps us inspired and what keeps us going. So Romney's drawing huge crowds. Obama's drawing little piddly crowds. Obama's spending all these last days in these swing states. And Mooch Hill, the first lady, is in. Would you say Virginia or North Carolina? Where did you say she was, James? Michelle Obama, what state? In Virginia at 2 all-black colleges. What in the world on the day before the election, the weekend before the election, what in the world is the first lady doing in all-black college? Shouldn't that sort of been sewn up by now? So when you see that, folks, when you see something like that, you think, well, they've got to go out there and fire up the base. They don't even have that. Their enthusiasm just isn't quite there. We do have polling data and some analysis of polling data, and I got what people think the polling data. Got a story here, 8 reasons why the pro-Obama polls are wrong, and you've probably heard all those reasons. Then, on the other side of this, ladies and gentlemen, is this continuing enraging story about Benghazi. That alone is reason enough to fire Barack Obama. Those of you in this country who are military families, you have served, you have worn the uniform, you have family members who have worn the uniform. If I were you, I would be outraged. I would be unable to contain myself. I'm already that way. It is stunning what we are continuing to learn. And it is dribbling out. David Ignatius writing columns now about it, the Washington Post. Tom Brokaw even talked about it today on the Today Show this morning. It is dribbling out, and whatever happens on Election Day, this is going to be investigated. This is going to cause heads to roll. This is inexplicable, and what is happening, what did happen, is inexcusable. The White House has been lying. The State Department has been even lying a couple of the CIA trying to fall on the sword. You go back to the first of Benghazi, the White House insisting for, what was it, 10 days, that a video was responsible for this, that there was no evidence of a terror attack. All this was a spontaneously combustible protest. It was just that YouTube video. That YouTube video got everybody all upset. Fox News. Today, Jennifer Griffin is back. Fox News, Jennifer Griffin reporting that cables from the consulate in Benghazi, cables from the consulate itself, made clear that they were expecting an attack from local militia groups in the hours before the attack. We learned yesterday that the ambassador himself had sent cables in August, warning the White House and the State Department and everybody else that Al-Qaeda was amassing. Al-Qaeda was assembling. They were rehearsing. He feared an attack. He wanted security. He wanted defense structure. We learned today from Fox News this morning that the consulate itself sent cables hours before the attack that they expected the attack. The consulate, what we know now, multiple times prior to the attack, told Washington an attack was coming, as far back as September, up to and including hours prior to it. The consulate also told the State Department that they had reason to believe that their local security was gathering intel for the attack. Their local security was not trusted. And it turns out local security could not be trusted. So they've tried to pass this off to everybody. They've tried to say, well, Hillary Clinton took responsibility, the State Department over here, CIA over there. What all this adds up to is that this came from the White House. All this adds up to this came from the White House. This came from and the buck never got here, Bill Clinton always said. This is going to end up, you watch, before this is all said and done, it's going to leak. The trail is going to go right back to the Oval Office and the Situation Room and the president, and whoever was in there with him. This is, folks, it's a crying shame. What is happening? But now we get in the Northeast, get union crews are turning away non-union repair workers to help out in the aftermath of Hurricane Sandy. The Las Vegas newspaper, Las Vegas Review-Journal, scathing editorial anti-Obama on Benghazi. Benghazi blunder, Obama unworthy commander-in-chief. CBS News, Cheryl Atkinson, key task force not convened during Benghazi consulate attack. CBS News has learned that during the 9/11 attack on the mission in Benghazi, the regime did not convene its top interagency counterterrorism resource, which is the Counterterrorism Security Group, CSG. The CSG is the one group that is supposed to know what resources every agency has. They know of multiple options and have the ability to coordinate counterterrorism assets across all agencies. They were not convened. They were not assembled. Their work, their input was not consulted. High-ranking government official told this to Cheryl Atkinson, CBS News. They weren't allowed to do their job. They were not called upon. And you've heard about Tyrone Woods begging for help, thinking he had air support when he's lighting up the mortar rounds with his laser. Every day we learn more and more about this. It's. I hear everybody repeating my line. I like it too. Nobody died at Watergate. This is far more than Watergate, and the press in this case is the equivalent of Woodward and Bernstein helping Nixon cover up Watergate. I must take a brief time out. We'll get your calls in because it's Open Line Friday. We'll start earlier than usual, at least we'll try to. We got a lot to mix and match here today, as is always the case on Open Line Friday here at the EIB Network. Hang in or be tough. Be right back.
Limbaugh, bringing America the truth on the EIB Network. Now, Albert Gore Jr. with one more way you can save the planet.
Instead of driving, try riding your bicycle to work and simplify your life. If only 1 in 5 Americans did this, we would save 196 billion barrels of oil every day. Ride a bike created from recycled metal from a manufacturer that uses at least 50% solar or wind power. Instead of air, try filling your tires with CO2 by blowing them up with your lips, like a balloon, trapping this dangerous greenhouse gas. Don't forget to reduce your use of harmful plastics by going seatless. You'll be surprised at the results of taking plastic out of your carbon footprint. Be sure and wear proper earth-friendly attire. Create your own hand-knitted shorts from discarded dryer lint, gathered from the dumpster behind your local washateria. Create nifty sandals from newspaper and rubber bands and twist ties and pieces of string that you find along.
You're over time. We need to cut.
We can't cut it anymore. I won't have time to tell them how to simplify their life.
So why has the economy been so bad during President Obama's first term? It's no accident. It's Economic Sabotage. The new blockbuster hit from Axelrod Productions. Even as President Obama was being sworn in,
I, Barack Obama, do solemnly swear that I will uphold the...
Republicans were starting to sabotage the economy.
Hey, tank the economy. Pass it down.
Then they misled the president to further destroy the American economy.
So, you think I shouldn't worry about unemployment? Just focus on Obamacare, raise taxes, go crazy with regulation, and run up $3 trillion in debt?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Well, okay.
And now they're recklessly forcing the president to cut government spending or else.
But if I cut government spending, old people will die, and polar bears will be cold.
So what?
Economic sabotage. David Axelrod says, it's the best thing we could come up with. Anthony Weiner says, no comment. And George Soros says, it's unbelievable.
And stupid.
Economic sabotage. The biggest conspiracy to hit D.C. since the Bilderbergs and the Queen of England stole J. Edgar Hoover's brain. Economic sabotage in select theaters and art houses everywhere. Now a message from the John F. Kerry Stay in School campaign.
What does algebra have to do with me? I thought it was a waste of my time, and I almost dropped out when someone showed me what a life without education leads to.
I'm John F. Kerry. Every 10 seconds in America, a promising young student drops out of school. Tommy was almost another statistic. He could have ended up a soldier for George W. Bush, and turned out like the other social misfits that make up today's military. Terrorizing innocent Iraqi citizens, gouging out eyes, cutting off noses, ears. Oh, sorry, having a flashback. Believe me, nothing is more pathetic than fighting for your misguided country led by a man reminiscent of Genghis Khan. So stay in school, and you'll stay off the streets and, more importantly, out of uniform. Right, Tommy?
Yeah, thanks to you, I'm currently an undergrad at Columbia, majoring in feminist lit. My life has meaning now.
I'm so proud of you, son.
Yeah, that's exactly what Bill Clinton said. I may be the only person in America, but I'm more excited about Obama this time. Now, are we supposed to believe that Bill Clinton doesn't know what he said? Why would he say, I may be the only person in America? What does that mean? No. Seriously, Clinton didn't just open his mouth and have syllables pop out. I may be the only person in America, but I'm more excited about Obama this. Is he admitting something here, or am I reading too much into this? I don't think I'm reading too much into it either, but I don't want to be wrong about it. I don't want to be reading too much into it if there's nothing to read here, but you got a guy, we're 4 days away from the election. I may be the only person in America, but I'm more excited about Obama. It's sort of like this notion that Obama acting presidential with Chris Christie for a couple hours is a game changer. What needs to be changed? I want to remind you again, I've got things popping into my head all over the place. Earlier this week, Gallup came out with that 9,000 plus sample poll. Margin of error of only plus or minus 1%. 9,000 people. It was a poll that asked party affiliation. Party ID. It came up with +3 Republican. As of now, party ID. I don't know if it was likely voters, registered voters, adults, whatever. I don't remember what it was, but it was some classification of voters. Now, in 2008, the same poll had Democrats +12. Exit polling had Democrats +12. The polling data that everybody's going, all these polls that show it neck and neck, they have something in common, except like Rasmussen. There's always an exception. They're all using the 2008 turnout model. If you look at Rasmussen and one other, that all they do is poll, like Gallup. Rasmussen and Gallup, all they do is poll. The other outfits, they're attached to universities. What's the bias there? They're attached to news networks. What's the bias there? Now, we know that objectivity is not possible. There's, especially these people. Now, I've always believed in media bias, folks, and objectivity. Objectivity is not really possible. If you have people as interested in this stuff as you and I are, we all have desired outcomes. We all want certain things to happen. So do people do the polls. So do the people paying for the polls. Marist, Quinnipiac, these universities, we know the slant. Everybody there is engaged. Nobody is ambivalent about the result. They all have a vested interest in the outcome. Some have a political preference, some have a business interest or what have you, but there isn't really pure objectivity here. So if you factor these things in, the two outfits that do nothing but poll, they're not attached to universities, they're not attached to networks, or other liberal bastions, unless they might be one self-contained at Gallup. You've got Pew, Rasmussen, and Gallup. The others all have associations with predominantly liberal institutions, and none of them want to stick their heads out. None of them. The idea that the election's tied, it's close, that none of what happened in the campaign has mattered, that none of what happened in the debates has mattered. Really? That Hurricane Sandy and the aftermath. ABC on Good Morning America today actually said they've got a poll. 8 out of 10 approve of Obama's handling. Well, I've got some sound bites from people from Staten Island and from Queens. They're not happy. In fact, this is going to get worse, much worse before it gets better. And now they're going to run the New York Marathon. You know what Bloomberg's doing? They are kicking refugees, essentially, out of hotels to make room for people coming into town to run the marathon. Well, we need the money. Oh, yeah, we need an economic benefit at a New York Marathon. Everybody, wherever you go, they're outraged over this decision. How in the world, when you got people starving, when you have people begging for food, begging for clothes, they have no place to stay, they've got no heat, it's going to get cold at night this weekend. How in the world do you do that? Well, liberalism, folks, I hate to be so simplistic with the answer, but it means something. And I could really rock the boat if I added something else. What I really think of it is marathon business. Well, it's because it's part of the health Nazi crowd. And they're all leftists, too. It's all part of you can't have something larger than 16 ounces to drink. You can't eat any trans fat. These are the people on the other side of that are loved and adored.
What college do you dream of sending your kids to? Yale, Harvard, Princeton.
Forget it. Those are the universities of yesteryear. The school of the future is COC.
Community Organizer College.
I'm a graduate, and I just took control of General Motors. And now I'm thinking of taking over Chrysler, too. Maybe. Or selling it to an Italian bicycle company. I think.
Want your kids to run a giant company or even an entire industry like healthcare, banking, or insurance? Enroll him or her at COC, Community Organizer College.
Do you want your darlings to have trillions of dollars of money to spread around? Apply to Community Organizer College. Our teachings are based on a major breakthrough in education. It's not what you know, it's what people think you know.
At COC, Community Organizer College, we don't waste time teaching English, history, math, science, or business management.
We teach cool. We teach pompous. We teach teleprompter, doublespeak, seducing the media.
Community Organizer College.
Where your kids can learn to run a company or a country. Who knows? Maybe the entire planet.
Community Organizer College. Capacity is limited. Better act now. For an application, dial 1-800-ACORN-COC.
It's not what you know. It's what people think you know.
Now, Saving the World with Al Gore Jr.
I'm here in Norway, tracking the elusive Norwegian moose with my trusty guide Schwinn.
No, it's Sven.
Sven and I are going to attempt to attach these sensors to that moose to measure its emissions into the environment. Because one moose in 1 year will emit greenhouse gases equal to an automobile traveling 13,000 kilometers. So, theoretically, if we could stop this moose from breathing, we could help save the world.
Yeah, it's good idea.
No, Sven, no! Oh dear.
Join us next time as we save the world with Al Gore Jr. From the day our forefathers first set foot on this great land to plant their crops, to raise their families, the cow has been there to share our burden, to feed our families. The cow making our westward expansion possible, helping this country grow and become great. Now, a small group of environmentalist wackos threaten this great national symbol, stalking the woods and plains, hunting down this wily creature. That's why a group of real Americans is forming the Cow Protection Institute. You can become a charter member. Simply send your name and address to Cow Pie, care of the EIB building, New York City. Join the Cow Protection Institute now. Then you too can proudly say, I'm a cow pie, and I proudly stand behind this noble creature.
It's Open Line Friday. Rush Limbaugh here at the distinguished and prestigious Limbaugh Institute for Advanced Conservative Studies. The phone number you want to be on the program is 800-282-2882. Romney has a speech in Cincinnati today. They are expecting 50,000 people. 2,800 people showed up this morning to hear Obama in Hilliard, Ohio. Are we not to make anything of that? Does that not mean anything? The pollsters today tell us the race is tied, just as it was. Oh, I don't know. Obama, what was 6 months ago? What was it, Obama? This is a good point, by the way. People were shouting polls at me back in April and May. So it doesn't make any difference. It doesn't make a damn bit of difference. Does anybody remember what they were? Off the top of your head, that's proving my point. But I'll tell you this. I do recall that back then, Obama was up. Obama was at 3, 5. Well, I mean, it was in the bag. If you recall, it was in the bag. It was over. In fact, going into the first debate, as far as the media, as far as the regime was concerned, the election was over. It was a formality. One of the reasons Obama performed so poorly in the debates because he didn't think it mattered. Now it's tied. So essentially, what's happened here is that all this movement from Ron Obama hasn't moved. He's still 47, 48, 46, nowhere near 50. All the movement's been Romney, but it just tied. After all of this, after all this money, after all of these ads, after all the debates, after all the press coverage, it's tied. But yet the external signs that you see, and the polling data, the early voting advantage for Romney, the absentee ballot advantage, the apparent winnable swing states just in the last week, Romney's crowds are swelling and getting larger. Obama's are shrinking. Romney looks like the president. Obama doesn't. Bill Clinton, I may be the only guy in America, but I'm actually more excited for Obama now than I was before. I've ever been. Benghazi, it's starting to take hold in places. I'll tell you something else happening in the Northeast. This hurricane aftermath. And I must be honest here. This is not something I derive a lot of pleasure in saying. The people up there are going to learn that the collective doesn't get it done. Government isn't going to get your gas can. It isn't going to happen. I wonder how many of them expected major progress toward resolution of their problems by now. Hurricane hit Tuesday. Well, I wonder how many people are shocked and surprised that it isn't getting any better. In fact, it may be worsening. Despite the fact the president came to town. President flew in. Isn't that supposed to mean something? President came in and met the governor of New Jersey. And Chris, you want to hear something funny? The other day on this program, when I was talking about Christie and Obama getting together, and this is hilarious. Christie and Obama get together, and I'm using my line that Christie is playing the role of a Greek column for Obama. And they're walking around, and I said, is it wrong for one man to love another? Let me tell you where that comes from. I play golf, and one of the guys I play with, we're teamed up, we're playing twosomes. You pair up, your partner against the other two in the foursome. And I got this one guy, when I sink a putt or when I do something that wins the hole, he comes up and hugs me and says, is it wrong to love another man? It's just a way to go. But there's nothing gay about it. These people think I'm making gay allegations. It's a Seinfeld line. Well, I never watched Seinfeld. Sorry, I never watched it. I didn't watch MASH either. But I know people think it's sacrilegious that I never watched MASH. I've maybe 2 episodes. I liked the movie so much that if the people in the movie were not going to be in the TV show, I didn't want to watch it. That was my reaction. I mean, how do you replace Hot Lips Houlihan from the movie? How do you get? You can't. At any rate, I don't want to get sidetracked here. There was no gay reference. It's just a little private joke that this friend of mine, is it wrong to love another man? He's just happy I sunk a putt, won the hole, or what have you. These guys, and here Brian Williams, apparently, I thought Brian Williams liked me, but apparently he doesn't anymore. Because he's on Rock Center or whatever that show he has in prime time last night, and he ripped Michael Brown, the FEMA guy for Bush, and then he ripped me. He got on me for my line about Christie playing the role of Greek column for Obama and the thralls of man love. These guys live such cloistered lives. They ripped me for that, and then he ripped me for being against bipartisanship. And leave it to Rush Limbaugh to be the only guy in America who doesn't like the fact that the governor of New Jersey had something good to say about the president of the United States. And then Chris Matthews over on MSNBC said, I reminded him of one of the doofuses in Deliverance. So the fact that I didn't buy into this just irritates them all to hell. Now, we have to correctly identify bipartisanship to understand these people. So Brian Williams, so after all this loss, you might be curious as to why Rush Limbaugh went after Governor Christie today. It was because he was getting along so well with the president, working together, saying nice things about Barack Obama. Just when we think the storm wiped away everything, we learned politics survived. Brian, come on. What do you think the stroll on the beach with Obama and Christie was? It was politics. Why do you think Obama called Christie, wanted to go into town? It was politics. See, this is the thing. You want to get on the brass tacks? Do you want to talk real about this? The way for a governor or president to handle this is with substance, not, what's the phrase I used to say? Symbolism over substance. Walking the beach accomplished what? Hugging the woman. No, folks, now stick with me on here. You know, I live in Realville. hugging the woman accomplished what? In terms of the expressed purpose for all this happening, real leadership would have been Christie and Obama and whoever else gathering in a command center and coordinating relief efforts with them not on the scene. You take these guys anywhere. This is why Doomberg, in a rare moment of sanity, said no to Obama when he has to come to town. Look at, if you show up here, I have to allocate security resources. I've got to get cars that I don't need or have. I've got to get highway patrol. I got to get a security detail for you. We've got to plan logistics. You're just getting in the way here. It's not that we don't love you, Mr. Obama. You're just getting in the way here. But what was happening there was style. What was happening there was symbolism. And it didn't accomplish anything. Not for the residents. It did accomplish things for Obama. Big whoop. And by the way, if you doubt me, what was the press reaction after this? How did this help Obama? Not, is this going to help people who don't have fuel? Is this going to help people who don't have homes with electricity? Is this going to help? That question wasn't even asked. It's not being asked today. The question's still being asked today. Did it help Obama? Did it help Christie? Is it the reason why Obama got a bump in the polls? Is it the reason why Obama... Somebody even said maybe Obama tied Rasmussen today because he got a bump coming out of... Obama doesn't deserve a bump coming out of Sandy. He hasn't done anything. Is this too hard hitting? Am I being too? But bipartisan. There wasn't any bipartisan going to Brian Williams and to Tom Brokaw and whoever else, to all of NBC, ABC, CBS, NBC, the New York Times. The definition of bipartisanship is what? When any Republican sacrifices his own beliefs and agrees with a Democrat, or when a Republican throws everything aside and makes a Democrat look good. That is how the press defines bipartisanship. Bipartisanship must require Republicans caving in one way or the other, or subordinating themselves one way or the other, or giving up something they believe in one way or the other. That's bipartisanship. And so, bipartisanship here was Governor Christie, a week before the election, essentially endorsing Obama. Well, in my book, that's not bipartisanship. There's another word for it, but it ain't bipartisan. But it is from their perspective. Governor Christie just basically said, to hell with you, Mitt. I'm throwing in with Obama right now. That's great bipartisanship as far as they're concerned. Well, it's not in my book. So they're all upset with me over, they think I was, does anybody really believe? I mean, you got Barack Obama and Chris, does anybody think those two are going to get married someday soon? Come on, let's get real here now. Is it wrong to love another man? It's just, well, but it's not, forget Michelle. I mean, you just, the optics. They were stretching to believe what they wanted to believe. They're stretching. But that wasn't bipartisanship, and it wasn't progress. We've got some sound bites here from people. Staten Island, Mr. Obama, please help us. Where are you? He's in Vegas or wherever. He's campaigning. In fact, I got an email from a friend last night. I don't watch the nightly news anymore because, I don't need to go to museums. And that's what the nightly news is. It's a museum. So I got a note from a friend who said, well, you won't believe what I just saw in the nightly news. I said, what? Pictures of people suffering in Staten Island, dumpster diving in Queens for food. New Yorkers, Americans, in line at gas stations with their little gas cans. Dumpster diving, pleading for help. And the next picture was Obama smiling and laughing and yucking it up, getting off of Air Force One at a campaign appearance. I said, so? He said, well, the media's that side by side, that's what they usually do to Republicans. I have to admit, he had a point. I didn't see it. I said, are you just seeing something you want to see? And he said, no, I didn't see it either. I'm having people flash me about it. So apparently there's a widely held view among the people that watched it. Anyway, let's take a break, and I will come back. Oh, there's a great hashtag on Twitter. You know what a hashtag is? You don't know what a hashtag is? Well, put your mind. You know what a tag is. Okay, hashtag is let them eat marathons. I'm telling you, this going ahead with this marathon in the midst of all this, kicking residents out of hotels to make room for marathoners. Their little children being kicked out. They're bringing 2 giant generators that could power 400 houses into Central Park to power things for the marathon. Yeah, and this all at the behest of Mayor Doomberg. Take a time out. Be back in a second.
Get the most outrageous Obama parodies ever on Paul Shanklin's new hilarious CD, You Didn't Build That. Available only at paulshanklin.com. That's Paul, SHANKLIN.com.
Hey, he didn't build that!
You're listening to the EIB Network. Now, you can drive your SUV guilt-free.
You can buy carbon offsets from EIB and continue to drive whatever you want to drive. Just don't change anything. We'll handle it for you.
Don't ask about the details.
Just trust us.
No need to change your affluent lifestyle.
We will take steps here at the EIB network to reduce carbon footprints so that yours can remain as large as you want it to be.
All this is yours for 4 easy payments of $25,000.
All you have to do is pay us, say $100,000.
Hurry, this offer ends soon.
$100,000 and you can live guilt-free.
Watch the sitcom everybody in the media's talking about. Leave It to Barry, the daily story of that cute, cuddly kid who's wormed his way into America's heart.
Hey, mister, where's the office of the president-elect?
There isn't one.
Yes, it's always one laugh after another, with Tom Daschle as Eddie Hassel.
This is the best healthcare plan ever, 'cause it's only 1 page long. Double-spaced. Just sign here. We'll work out the details later.
Nancy Pelosi is the loving mother of the country.
Hey, Mom, can okay, never mind.
Harry Reid is the kindly old neighbor next door.
You tourists stink.
And Barack Obama as the Barry.
We will help people who haven't paid their mortgages by giving them another 90 days not to pay them. Blagojevich? Who's Blagojevich?
Leave It to Barry every day right here after Paulson and Frank, the odd couple. All across America, progressive teachers are helping children to sing alike and think alike. Now, you can get the album that started it all. Kids' Songs of the Revolution.
These time-tested songs in the original German will bring our country's youth together to do great things. With songs like my favorite, One Leader Forever. Kids just can't stand still when they hear hope is in the air. They'll really be marching to a different drummer with the classic Change is Here.
Kids Songs of the Revolution. Available at Acorn, Ahmadinejad.com, and teachers' unions everywhere.
Kids, tell your parents to get yours today before the economy collapses or healthcare implodes and the world burns up from global warming.
Kids Songs of the Revolution. Indoctrination hasn't been this much fun since 1933.
When I was 14, I had our...
I got an email. You got to play the Romney speech. You got to play sound bites of the Romney speech this morning because I was praising it. He looked great. He looked presidential. Suit and tie, Obama, the flight jacket, open collar. Romney due to speak to 50,000 Cincinnati later today. You got to play it. We won't hear it otherwise. The media won't play it. I got it. I have 3 sound bites from it here. Let's see. Here, grab 28. You don't believe me. Snerdley's not believing. He told me during the break he doesn't believe that Clinton actually said this.
I hear all these people say, I was so enthusiastic 4 years ago. I had so much hope for change. And I'm disappointed in this, that, and the other thing. Let me tell you something. I may be the only person in America, but I am far more enthusiastic about President Obama this time than I was 4 years ago.
That's even worse than I thought. It's not in Lake Worth. It's not a Lake Worth. Lake Worth matters because that's where the FedEx Center is. And FedEx brings our Apple stuff. So we love Lake Worth. Clinton was down there at Lake Worth. I hear all these people say, well, he's admitting. Where's he going? He's going to Democrat groups. Everywhere I go, I say they're so disappointed. They were hoping for this and wanting change there, and they're hoping for that. And I'm disappointed in this. I'm disappointed. He's not talking about Republicans. He's not talking to Republican groups. What with friends like this? Who needs enemies? In Florida, he said, yeah, everywhere I go, people tell me how disappointed they are and they wanted change. And, yeah, I may be the only guy in America, but I'm more excited. I'm sorry, folks. I'm sorry. I don't see how that works for Obama. Let's see. Unemployment rate. I saw Obama today. Obama's out there saying, we have more jobs created last month than at any time since I've been president. The unemployment rate went up to 7.9% from 7.8%. And as usual, post-election revisions in these numbers, I predict, are going to shock a lot of people. And if Obama's already promised policies, already not quite etched in stone, if he's reelected and implemented, we're speeding right to another recession. The horror stories that are coming out state by state now about tax increases and costs of premiums for health insurance, even now with this early implementation of Obamacare, are scary. So this 7.9% number, it went up. Obama's out. Well, the only reason it went up is because more people not looking for work. They're feeling better about finding a job. And more people looking for. He took office, the unemployment rate 7.8%. He spent the stimulus. He promised a 5.2% unemployment. He was promising 500,000 jobs a month. This 100, whatever it was, 1,000 number job, whatever the number was today, is barely enough to keep up with our population growth. We're not creating jobs anywhere near a number that will reduce unemployment or increase the labor force participation rate. Nothing in place to make that happen.
Thought it couldn't get any better. Rush on the EIB network. Now, something new yet familiar to everyone. It's Ron Artest.
Hey, yo, fool. Stop with the old school rap and bust it with the now. You gotta do representing for me, Ron Artest.
Word up to all peeps. Some fresh tracks been laying down.
What up? This Ron Artest. Busting out with the soft with some old school oldies with a fresh twist. Ain't no suspension long enough. There ain't no fines that are big enough. Ain't no jail term long enough to keep me from beating on you.
And I really mean hits.
R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Gonna find out what it means to me. R-E-S-P-E-C-T. You better not be dissing me, yo.
Spreading the love.
Peeps all over the world join hands, make a love train or beat your brain.
True warrior even does Streisand.
Peeps who breed other peeps are the happiest peeps in the world.
Ron Artest does the oldies with a fresh twist and a clenched fist.
He's a jolly good felon, and I'm a jolly good felon. We're all jolly good felons, and if you don't agree, you'll die.
Getting real.
Baby, 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 where did my pay go? Endorsements done left me now. I need me a new loan, you know?
Run our test, oldies with a fresh twist. From Concussion Records.
Yeah, we put the con back in concussion.
Available at NBA games and bail bondsmen everywhere.
True that.
And now a word from the National Keep Our Own Kids Safe campaign about the danger of soccer.
I see soccer as not a violent sport. It's a symptom of violence, not really a cause of violence.
Keep Our Own Kids Safe national celebrity spokesman Rush Limbaugh.
Are you a paid member of the soccer lobby? There have been people in other endeavors of human activity who have known of inherent risks and have lied about them.
If anything, your words will serve only to embolden people's efforts to spread the sport of soccer, and I hope that doesn't incorporate an increased number of injuries and so on and so forth.
Well, me too. I can only bring the information to the people. If anger at me causes others to get more people into this game, I can't be held accountable for that.
I love the game, and I played a little bit of football as well, and I tell you, I would never take my chances on the football field.
And you took chances that you didn't even know you were taking on the soccer field, and that's my point. You didn't even know because they hid the data from us.
The last time I checked, I didn't have any brain damage. But
well, oftentimes victims are the last to know. You should ask your family members if there have been any changes.
Join Rush Limbaugh and help support the Keep Our Own Kids Safe campaign. Look for the Keep Our Own Kids Safe chapter near you. You'll find them everywhere. Now from the people who...
Yeah, I promised to get phone calls in. And in fact, I told Snerdley that we get ready 25 minutes ago. We're going to the phones, and I was liking the way I was sounding so much, and I never got there. So I promise we'll get to the phones early in the next hour. It is Open Line Friday. Sit tight, folks. Are coming right back, and you are going to love it.
If you're looking for the real south of the border experience, then sneak into Los Aligalos and place your order today.
Welcome to Los Aligalos. Can I take your order?
Yes, I want free health care, a job, I want to protest in the streets, and I want the entire Southwest U.S. returned to its rightful owner, Mexico.
Are you here legally?
That's none of your business.
And right now in Los Aligalos, you can try our new chicken soft border taco. With a tortilla so thin, you can see right through it. No ID? No problem. In the country illegally? No problem. Just cut in line in front of everyone else.
Jace, I'd like a La Raza tostada.
Hey, I've been waiting in line here for 10 years.
Hey, tell that to Harry Reid and Nancy Pelosi.
Bring the whole gang to Los Aligalos and order our MS-13 special. Order a dozen tacos and we'll throw in one free.
Viva Los Aligalos!
Wear your American flag t-shirt inside out and get a free entry.
That's entree?
Oh, yeah. Now open 24 hours in all border states. Arizona is subject to change.
Are you tired of high gas prices? Me too. And that's why I'm busy doing something about it. While Republicans want to keep drilling for the same old boring sources of energy, I've been busy looking at new sources of energy that could someday power America's future. Like algae. If we can figure out how to make cheap fuel out of plain old pond scum like this, I could easily get reelected. If I could just figure it out.
If you have any idea how to make cheap gasoline out of algae, please contact the Obama for President 2012 committee. Attention Newsweek readers, there's never been a better time to receive or renew your subscription to Newsweek.
Wow, I haven't read that liberal rag in years.
What if we told you about our new amazing subscription offer that not only guarantees you'll have an entire year of Newsweek delivered right to your door, but it also makes you a publishing magnate.
Okay, I'm game.
For only $19.99, you'll receive an entire year of the slightly slanted news coverage, opinion, and interviews you'd expect from Newsweek.
I'm not sold yet.
And by checking our special Buy the Magazine box on the bottom of your subscription card, we'll give you the entire magazine for only $1.
Yeah, I'm getting a year's worth of the magazine.
No, you're taking the entire Newsweek operation, staff, printing press, and our debt.
Newsweek, huh? Hey, you got a deal on Playboy?
For this amazing Newsweek offer, call 1-800-BROKE-RAG. That's 1-800-BROKE-RAG. Newsweek, another failed institution of the liberal media. You think she's adorable
I'll just have a salad.
because she's so fit and trim.
Make that half a salad.
But even if things go smooth on the first date, think twice before settling down. Married women are twice as likely to become obese.
Oh, and I'll have the rack of lamb for two.
Thinking of just shacking up? Women are still 63% more likely to bulk up when they cohabitate with the opposite sex.
And I'd like some fries on the side and some onion rings.
Feminist research originally believed the phenomenon to be an allergic reaction to men. But at Obesity Today, we went undercover to find the root cause of post-commitment bloating.
It's so hard to decide on just one dessert.
And why you should drop her after the first date. Don't let this happen to you. Read To Have and to Hold on those love handles in Obesity Today.
We'll just split the turtle cheesecake, the cream brulee, and the double death by chocolate. A la mode. Thank you.
Dear President Obama, recently some whiny kids from the World Wildlife Fund asked you to go to the Global Climate Summit in Copenhagen. Don't waste your time or our future. They just want to shake America down for some dough. Hurricanes are not becoming more numerous or destructive, but putting third world dictators in charge of our economy will be. Forcing us to ride bicycles for the rest of our lives won't save a polar bear, help a walrus, or change the temperature of the earth. How do we know? We listen to Rush Limbaugh. And you should too. We're the children of EIB. And we approved this message. He doesn't listen to Rush Limbaugh? How can he run the country?
What could be worse than a dirty renegade cop with no respect for the law? The soiled senator who writes them. Harry Reid stars as Dingy Harry, Magnum Farce. The true story of a senator from Stoplight, Nevada, who magically becomes a wealthy real estate tycoon overnight.
So you'll help us with a vote as long as we cut you in for a sweet piece of the deal. Aren't you worried it will look like a payoff?
Go ahead. Make my day.
Soon, Harry moves up to become Senate Majority Leader, where he spends his time encouraging the troops.
This war is lost.
Advising General Petraeus.
This war is lost, punk.
Attacking innocent civilians.
We need to censor Rush Limbaugh.
This guy doesn't care if Congress does have the lowest polls ever. He's too busy shooting off his mouth.
It's the most powerful weapon in the world.
Sir, your foot.
It's okay. I've got another one.
Dingy Harry, Magnum Farce, showing daily in the Senate. Do you have a low IQ? Don't mix well in normal society? Feel like you don't fit in? Then join the ranks of the elite Federal Baggage Screeners Corps. We're hiring thousands of qualified applicants right now. Just pass our rigorous job placement exam. Yep, this one's breathing. And you're on your way to a successful career. Like Betty, an elderly widow who enjoys knowing what's in everyone's bag.
Why, just last week I found a pair of ladies' panties in a golf bag. Imagine that, a pair of panties in a golf bag.
Or perhaps you're a deranged loner with poor hygiene and grooming habits, like Larry.
I used to soil myself down at the bus station, but this is much better.
And if you have a really deep-seated emotional problem, you may be management material. So don't be afraid to call. Work for someone who appreciates you just as you are. The elite Federal Baggage Screeners Corps of America. Remember, America is counting on you.
CBS News, New York. CBS News, New York. Drivers waiting 6 hours at Midtown gas station. 6 hours at a Midtown gas station. People are urinating in the halls of their apartment buildings in certain parts of the city because there's no plumbing, rather than in their apartments. Folks, this is not going to be pretty this weekend.
And now, from sunny South Florida, it's Open Line Friday.
This coming weekend in the Northeast, this is... Greetings and welcome back. Rush Limbaugh, Open Line Friday, 800-282-2882. If you want to be on the program, the email address, lrushbo@eibnet.com. This New York Marathon, I've got more people. Check the email. Rush, why are they doing this? Look, there's a simple answer, folks. I'm almost afraid to tell you. Because you're going to say, no, it's what you always say. But it happens to be true. They have 2 giant generators brought into Central Park to take care of whatever's needed for the marathon. They're kicking residents who have checked into hotels because their houses are gone, kicking them out of hotels to put the marathoners, the people associated with the marathon, in the hotels. Why? It doesn't compute on a common sense scale. This doesn't make any sense at all. You've got people that can't find gasoline. People's homes are gone. The beach is gone. The devastation is in Staten Island now. People are beginning to see how truly bad it is. The suffering 6-hour lines for gasoline in Midtown Manhattan. Stupid rule, you can't get into the city unless you got 3 people in your car. Who wants to come in the city? And yet they're doing the marathon. And they say, well, it's for the money. That's not what. Yes, it's for the money. But who's in charge here? Let me ask you a question. Who in New York is a big proponent of global warming? In fact, who just endorsed Obama because he's right on global warming? It'd be Mayor Bloomberg, correct? Now, what do global warmers believe? Well, they believe a lot of cockamamie BS. But they also believe that sea levels are rising. Yes. You see, it's getting warmer, and the polar bears are vanishing, and the ice flows are melting, and the glaciers are melting, and the sea levels are rising because it's so sweltering hot out there. Doomberg has been mayor for how long? 11 years? Doomberg's had 11 years to get ready for the rising sea levels that he believes in because he believes in global warming. What did he do to prepare Lower Manhattan for rising sea levels? What did any of the liberals who run the show out on Long Island? Any of the liberals who run the show in New Jersey? They all believe global warming. One of the tenets of global warming is rising sea levels. What did they do? You could do the same question about New Orleans. Okay, you know you got a problem with the levees. Here's federal money. Build the levees. Make sure we have a flood the levees hold. The money went to the back pocket of the regulators. It was graft, and the levees didn't hold. And it's blaming George W. Bush for it. The people in charge are all what? They're all liberals. They believe things. They tell us they believe in global warming, but Bloomberg didn't prepare Lower Manhattan for rising sea levels. He didn't prepare. He believes this stuff. This stuff matters. He believes sea levels are rising without storms. A storm comes along. Sea levels are already rising. Well, 2 + 2 = 4. That equals floods. Did he do anything to prepare for it? No. Now he okays the marathon. This is the liberal value system. To him, there's value in all this. In the midst of this crisis and aftermath, there's some sort of value to having the marathon there. Now, we know he's also a health nut. You can't drink a soda over 16 ounces. You can't eat with trans fat in it. You can't smoke, no matter what. Well, who are marathon? Well, they're the essence of health freaks. exactly the kind of people we want in New York. These are ideal people. You can't run a marathon unless you're in shape. You can't run a marathon unless you don't drink 16-ounce larger sodas. You can't run a marathon if you eat trans fats. You can't run a marathon if you smoke. So the marathon people, the ideal citizens, the ideal people, they do everything Bloomberg doesn't want people to do or wants people to do. They're welcome. Now, wherever you go, folks, you're going to, this hurricane in New York and New Jersey, we talked yesterday, is a case study on the perils of liberalism and socialism. What were we told yesterday by Governor Christie, or 2 days ago, Governor Christie and Obama? They both said they're going to get government out of the way in order to speed the recovery. We're going to get rid of the gasoline regulations so that any gas is accepted. We're going to get rid of the red tape. When you call a bureaucracy, they're going to answer the phone in 15 minutes. They're going to get back to you in 15 minutes. In the process, they were admitting that the biggest roadblock to efficiency is government, their precious government that they believe in and run. And they are saying, in this time of crisis, we're going to get rid of it. But don't worry. I mean, we'll build it back when the crisis is over, and we'll put the roadblocks back up, and we'll put the regulations back in, and we'll reinstitute the gasoline regulation, and we'll make it just as hard to get gasoline as it was, and we'll make it just as tough to produce it. And we're going to make it so that you have to wait 2 days to get the call from the bureaucrats instead of 15 minutes. We'll go back to that, don't worry. But in the middle of the crisis where people really need government, we're going to get government out of their way. Every picture I see out of New York, I don't see progress. I don't see anything happening here. It's a case study. After these big announcements, getting government out of the way, big announcements, no more red tape, no more gasoline regulations, going to speed everything up. They admit that government slows everything down. Didn't intend to, but they did. They admit that government bottlenecks everything. They admit that the enemy of efficiency is a bureaucracy or a series of bureaucracies run by bureaucrats and government people. And in this crisis, they both, Christie and Obama, said we're going to get rid of it. Well, why don't we stay rid of it once we get rid of it? If it's the solution, if smaller government's the answer, it's the answer. And who's running for president on smaller government? Mitt Romney. And when Mitt Romney says that he's going to do exactly what Christie and Obama promised they're going to do in this crisis, what does Obama say about Romney? Well, you can't elect him. He's just going to take us back to the policies that got us in this mess. Really? It just sounds to me like Romney wants to make permanent what you're doing temporarily to speed up the recovery in the aftermath of the hurricane. If you're going to get rid of government, going to get rid of the bottlenecks, going to get rid of the gasoline regulations and others, if you're going to make sure bureaucrats respond to phone calls on time, but only in a time of crisis. And Romney says, you know what? I want to do that every day. I want everything running efficiently every day. I want to have more things taking place in the private sector with a profit motive where people get things done because there's a reason for it. I want it running smoothly. I want government to do what it can do and do it well. And I want it smaller. And they said, well, you can't do that. That's got us into this mess. Really? So, President Obama, we can then say that the temporary measures that you are taking are the same thing that got us into the mess that we're in. Because that's what you say Romney's going to do. Romney is going to take us back to the same policies that got us in this mess. All he's talking about smaller government. You are talking about smaller government. You and Governor Christie, yep, we're going to streamline it all. So, President Obama, you are admitting to people who will listen and put two and two together that the solution to the crisis in the aftermath of Hurricane Sandy is the policies of the past that equal smaller government and more money in individuals' back pockets and more power in the private sector to get things done. And then, by the way, did you guys forget teleunions? Because a bunch of crews from Alabama have been turned away. Did you hear about this? Non-union repair crews from Alabama who drove to New York to help were turned away by New York unionized crews. So you can't... Oh, no, I'm not kidding you. I wouldn't make this up. So you people on Staten Island and elsewhere in that area, there are people from all over the country that want to drive in and help. And if they're not union, they're being turned away. Remember the Jones Act from the BP spill? The Jones Act allows foreign workers to come in and help in a crisis. But the Jones Act, I think, requires that the foreign workers be union. It's a way to protect the unions. Or you got to pay union wages to people that come in or whatever. And so the work didn't get done. They actually are turning away non-union utility repairmen, construction workers, other kind of engineers who want to help out. So what we're going to learn here is the next 3 days you watch. People are going to do. I mean, Bloomberg says he's going to take care of it. He's got press conferences. Christie, Obama, they're going to take care of it. They're there. Take care. They're hugging people. Well, let's see. The next 3 days are going to highlight that for people in that region who want improvement in their lives, they're going to have to do it. Nanny Bloomberg is going to be at the marathon. Euphemistically speaking. These next 3 days are going to illustrate the priorities of liberals and the dependence on the collective. It will showcase the overall damage done by unions. It's a shame, folks, that it is happening. All right, I intended to have played 3 Romney sound bites by now, but I liked what I was saying so much that I just kept wanting to hear me. So I'm going to take a break. We'll come back. We'll play the 3 Romney bites, and then we'll get to your phone calls because it is Open Line Friday.
Get the digital edition of the Limbaugh Letter on your phone free for a limited time. Sign up today at rushlimbaugh.com. You're listening to the EIB Network.
A lot of us are not going to let that happen.
Ever wonder how Barbara Boxer keeps that uptight, uncomfortable look all day long? She's got her thong on. And now you can keep it uptight too. Celebrate spring with the environmental thong made with dried leaves, moss, and twigs. Or keep leaks to yourself with a dependable Pat Leahy model. It only leaks when you want it to. All our boxers are unisex and come in only one size, extra, extra small, for that uniquely uptight look that's so fashionable with your left-wing buddies. Now you too can look uptight and uncomfortable all day long. And if you ever feel a smile coming on, just cinch it up a little higher. Just ask Ron Reagan Jr. So just throw out the old boxers and get your thong on with the Barbara Boxer Thong Collection. Check out the Barbara Boxer Thong Collection wherever left-wing loonies are found. Now, an official announcement by our dear leader Barack Hussein Obama.
Every day, people all across America are spreading vicious stories and taking my name in vain. To get reelected, we must fight against the truth that blocks our way. That's why I created AttackWatch.com, a website devoted to shutting down the free expression of all subversive, counter-revolutionary ideas. A place where you can report those who spread rumors, nasty emails, and public utterances attacking me. If you love me, you'll turn in anyone engaged in these types of activity. Friends, family, associates, children, anyone.
If you're tired of hearing how President Obama single-handedly screwed up the economy, hijacked healthcare, mishandled foreign policy...
That's enough!
Drop the ball!
I'm turning you in!
Wanted old people to take a pill and fly!
AttackWatch.com. We're watching you.
Do you have a low IQ? Don't mix well in normal society? Feel like you don't fit in? Then join the ranks of the elite Federal Baggage Screeners Corps. We're hiring thousands of qualified applicants right now. Just pass our rigorous job placement exam. Yep, this one's breathing. And you're on your way to a successful career. Like Betty, an elderly widow who enjoys knowing what's in everyone's bag.
Why, just last week I found a pair of ladies' panties in a golf bag. Imagine that, a pair of penis in a golf bag.
Or perhaps you're a deranged loner with poor hygiene and grooming habits, like Larry.
I used to soil myself down at the bus station, but this is much better.
And if you have a really deep-seated emotional problem, you may be management material. So don't be afraid to call. Work for someone who appreciates you just as you are. The Federal Baggage Screeners Corps of America. Remember, America is counting on you. Now an important message from President Obama.
Okay, here's the latest. Big Sis, Janet Napolitano, Homeland Security, has waived the Jones Act. She has waived it, which means that non-union oil tankers from the Gulf will be allowed to deliver oil to the East Coast. That's normally not allowed. Normally, non-union tankers cannot deliver oil to the East Coast. But Big Sis, see, getting more government out of the way. They have to get rid of government regulations to make progress happen. This is such a teachable moment. I didn't even know there was a Jones Act, but there is, and it's to protect unions, and it says that non-union tankers, it's far more wide-reaching than this, by the way, but in this case, the application of it is that non-union tankers cannot deliver oil to the Northeast. But she's waiving that. So, once again, a government bureaucrat is eliminating a government regulation in order for something to happen. With the government regulation in place, there would be no oil. Government's not the solution. Government is having to cancel itself. Government is having to eliminate itself in order for things to happen and get done there. And it's what Romney wants to do day in and day out, which is said to be taking us back to the policies that got us in this mess. That's always been a crock. It is a crock now. The Jones Act prevented more help going into New Orleans during the BP spill, and Obama fought waiving it. There were people who wanted to waive the Jones Act after the BP spill so that non-union helpers could get down their work, and Obama fought it to protect the unions. So Obama stood up for big government, stood up for government roadblocks after the BP oil spill. Right now, Obama is getting rid of government roadblocks. I mean, the liberals are indicting themselves. Liberals and Democrats are being forced to admit that their day-to-day function and way of doing government is anti-progress. No other way to say it. They retard progress. They slow it down. And for there to be progress now, fast movement, help on the way, they've got to get rid of some government. I love it. I think it's... Here's Romney's. Wearing a suit and tie. He looked presidential. For those of you interested in style over substance, he looked it. Obama's wearing a bomber jacket. He had to ask me, what's a bomber jacket? Nah, I didn't. It's Air Force One jacket. It's President Obama right here on the Air Force One jacket, open collar. Here's Romney in West Allis, Wisconsin.
He said he was going to lower the unemployment rate down to 5.2% right now. Today we learned that it's actually 7.9%, and that's 9 million jobs short of what he promised. Unemployment is higher today than when Barack Obama took office. Think of that. Unemployment today is higher than on the day Barack Obama took office. He promised that he would propose a plan to save Social Security and Medicare from insolvency. He didn't. Rather, he raided $716 billion from Medicare to pay for his vaunted Obamacare. And gasoline. The American family now pays $2,000 a year more for gasoline than when he was elected.
You want to hear some other numbers? You heard the unemployment numbers. The gasoline price, $1.84 when Obama took office, $3.50 national average today. On his first day in office, there were 32 million Americans in food stamps. Today, 47 million On his first day in office, the deficit was $10.6 trillion. Today, the national debt, today it's $16.3 trillion. He's added $6 trillion to the national debt, 4 years. When Obama was sworn in, the median family income, about $55,000. Today, $50,000. So nearly $4,500, $5,000 has been lopped off of median family income. 1 in 6 Americans are in poverty. No matter how you look at it, no matter how you spin it, no matter how you slice and dice it, Obama has made things worse. His policies have caused great damage to this country, and they will continue to if he's reelected, and he wants them to. And, again, I've just tell you, Barack Obama has to get his policies out of the way temporarily for there to be progress and help on the way to the Northeast. The government's bigger, Americans are poorer. And this is because Obamacare is on its way to being implemented. And we don't even have Tax-A-Mageddon implemented yet. George Lucas sold Lucasfilms to Disney for $4 billion. He sold it this year to escape Obama's new taxes next year. That's why he did it. By the way, speaking of bipartisanship, here's Mitt Romney again in West Allis, Wisconsin this morning at a campaign event.
Of course, he also said he was going to work across the aisle on the most important issues. Listen to this. He has not met on the economy or on the budget or on jobs with either of the Republican leader of the House or the Senate since July. Instead of bridging the divide, he's made it wider. Now, how is it that he's fallen so short of what he promised? In part, it's because he'd never led before. He'd never worked across the aisle before. He never truly understood how jobs are created in the economy.
That's all true. He still doesn't understand it. He thinks you sign a stimulus bill and jobs happen. He thinks you convene a 2-hour workshop on jobs with Thomas Loopy Friedman of the New York Times and jobs happen. Bipartisanship. See, if when bipartisanship is only when Republicans cave. Do we have time? We do. One more from Romney.
Accomplishing real change is something I don't just talk about, it's something I've done. And it's what I'm going to do when I'm President of the United States, with your help. And so to people across America, if you believe we can do better, if you believe America should be on a better course, if you're tired of being tired, then I ask you to vote for real change. Paul Ryan and I will bring real change to America from day one. Now, I know that when I'm elected, the economy and the American job market will still be stagnant. But I won't waste any time complaining about my predecessor.
By the way, Obama is speaking now somewhere about free enterprise and risk-taking and dreamers. In other words, things he doesn't believe, which is what all liberals do when it's election time.
Now, something new yet familiar to everyone. It's Ron Artest.
Hey, no fool. Stop with the old school rap and bust it with the now. You gotta do representing for me, Ron Artest.
Word up to all peeps, some fresh tracks been laying down.
What up? This Ron Artest, busting out with the soft with some old school oldies with a fresh twist. Ain't no suspension long enough. There ain't no fines that are big enough. Ain't no jail term long enough to keep me from beating on you.
And I really mean hits.
R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Gonna find out what it means to me. R-E-S-P-E-C-T. You better not be dissing me, yo.
Spreading the love.
Peeps all over the world join hands, make a love train or beat your brain.
True warrior even does Streisand.
Peeps who breed other peeps are the happiest peeps in the world.
Ron Artest does the oldies with a fresh twist and a clenched fist.
He's a jolly good fella, and I'm a jolly good fella. We're all jolly good felons, and if you don't agree, you'll die.
Getting real.
Baby, 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 where did my pay go? Endorsements done left me now. I need me a new loan, you know?
Ron Artest, oldies with a fresh twist. From Concussion Records.
Yeah, we put the con back in concussion.
Available at NBA games and bail bondsmen everywhere.
True that.
You think she's adorable
I'll just have a salad.
because she's so fit and trim.
Make that half a salad.
But even if things go smooth on the first date, think twice before settling down. Married women are twice as likely to become obese.
Oh, and I'll have the rack of lamb for two.
Thinking of just shacking up? Women are still 63% more likely to bulk up when they cohabitate with the opposite sex.
And I'd like some fries on the side and some onion rings.
Feminist research originally believed the phenomenon to be an allergic reaction to men. But at Obesity Today, we went undercover to find the root cause of post-commitment bloating.
It's so hard to decide on just one dessert.
And why you should drop her after the first date. Don't let this happen to you. Read To Have and to Hold on those love handles in Obesity Today.
We'll just split the turtle cheesecake, the creme brulee, and the double death by chocolate. A la mode. Thank you.
And now, Andy Griffith for Obamacare.
1965. A lot of good things came out that year, like Medicare. And now we got us Obamacare. And this year, just like always, you're going to have your guaranteed benefits right up until the time you get sick. So all you old angry white folks out there joining the tea parties and protesting and all, just calm down and be a good cracker. Good cracker. Tell them the new rules, Barney. Well, you see, it's like this. Here in Washington, everybody has to play by the rules. Now, we've developed a rule book just for you there at home. 62,528 new rules to help you through the process of healthcare in an orderly, organized fashion. Rule number 1. There are no peanut butter and jelly sandwiches allowed in any hospital day or night, 24/7, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Rule number 2. If any named insured of a qualified plan gets sick, he or she must fill out request form 24/7.
For more information on Obamacare and how it affects those 65 and older, just get sick and you'll find out.
Oh, well, folks, hey, it's not as bad as I thought. Not as bad as this marathon business. It's not as bad as I... This afternoon in New York City, Mayor Bloomberg held a press conference to update people about the recovery efforts from Hurricane Sandy. And he said this about the running of the New York Marathon on Sunday.
The Road Runners Club has asked each runner in this weekend's marathon to also contribute $26.20, which is $1 for each mile of the race, and hopefully some will do a lot more than that. They're running this race to help New York City, and the donations from all of the runners and the clubs are going to be a big leaf to our relief efforts.
You gotta be kidding.
And if you remember, you go back to 9/11. I think Rudy made the right decision in those days to run the marathon. It pulled people together, and we have to find some ways to express ourselves and show our solidarity with each other.
There you got it, folks. There you have it. Solidarity with each other, holding hands, working hard with each other. And by the way, this race is for you. You're in Staten Island. This race is for you. This race is to rebuild New York. A New York marathon to rebuild New York. And how's that going to happen? Well, every competitor is going to donate $26.20. You know how they got to that number? That's $1 a mile. Because the original idiot back in Greece who ran that distance to inform somebody that the bad guys are coming is the only reason we have marathons. A ribbon? Oh, have the runners wear a ribbon? You mean like the, what would you call this ribbon? Hurricane awareness ribbon? Everybody's already aware. Anyways, there you have it, folks. A $26.20 from every marathoner. I am New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg, and this race is for you. Okay, Steve in Virginia Beach, you're first on the phones. It's great to have you here. I'm glad you waited. Hi.
Thanks, Mayor Rush, 20-year resident of Realville. Dittos to you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, my wife and I went to the Mitt Romney rally here in Virginia Beach last night. It was originally scheduled for Sunday, but because the storm messed it up, they got it turned around, rescheduled it in 48 hours. And for that short of notice, the turnout was unbelievable. I would estimate at least 10,000, although I really couldn't tell for sure, just gut feeling of how many were there. But the energy was just out of sight. The first thing I noticed when I walked in, there was no teleprompter. So it was obvious it wasn't an Obama rally right there, besides the fact they had a big crowd. But he had one line that we had not heard before. He was talking about Obama claiming how much energy he wants to use and on, and talking about using oil and gas and so forth. And Mitt says, he keeps talking about all the above. And Mitt says, I couldn't figure out what he's talking about. Then it hit me. When he's talking about all the above, it's all the energy above the ground, like wind and solar and all that kind of stuff. And he got a pretty good, laugh out of that line.
Well, it's good that people are laughing out there. We need to be laughing, and Obama makes you cry. Obama can make you cry, Obama can make you outraged and so forth, but everybody that I hear from who attends a Romney rally remarks on the size and the enthusiasm of the crowd. But I'm not cold water on it, but we can take calls all day. People say that, and it still adds up to anecdotal. I'm not trying to throw cold water on it. Don't misunderstand. It's hard to attach a scientific meaning to it. It is real. There's no question about it. And here, grab soundbite, whatever it is. Bill Clinton, is that number 20? I've already put it 28. I knew that's what it was. You got to hear this again. This is Clinton this morning in Lake Worth, Florida, which is 10 minutes, 15 at the most, south of the EIB, Southern Command.
I hear all these people say, I was so enthusiastic 4 years ago. I had so much hope for change. And I'm disappointed in this, that, and the other thing. Let me tell you something. I may be the only person in America, but I am far more enthusiastic about President Obama this time than I was 4 years ago.
It may just be me, but I don't associate that with winning. I don't associate any of that with a winning feeling or a winning aura. He really said this. He's getting hoarse out there, by the way. I hear all these people say, I was so enthusiastic 4 years ago. I had so much hope for change. I'm disappointed in this and that. This is an Obama rally. He's admitting that Obama's voters are complaining to him. He's not hearing this in the media. He's not hearing that on television. Where's he hearing this? He's hearing it when he's talking to these people. And then the cherry on top, the icing on the cake. I may be the only guy in America, but I'm far more enthusiastic. Oh, I love it. All right. Here's Sandra at Long Island. Great to have you on the EIB network. Hi.
Hey, Rush. Mega Dittos from deep in enemy territory.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for getting us through some dark times, although I do believe soon things will be brighter. Hey, I was thinking here in Long Island we're out of power. Probably won't be on Tuesday for voting, but wouldn't it be funny if it stays off, we could keep the liberals away. They won't be able to vote.
Well, the people have run some calculations on this. As you know, they're going to be using, military trucks as mobile polling places in some parts of the region. But I saw the story this morning that it's not going to affect the Electoral College, but it's something like Obama could lose 300,000 or 400,000 votes from the national total because of people who won't be able to vote on Tuesday because of this mess.
I was hoping my namesake hurricane would would turn this state red, but you never know.
Well, are you actually hoping for that?
Hey, why not?
I would. I'd take it. Don't misunderstand. But I wish I could remember where I saw the estimate. But 300,000 to 400,000 votes that Obama won't get, which is not going to affect the electoral votes out of New York at all, but it will affect the national total and the percentage to a certain extent, depending on what the overall popular vote is. Mike, Fairfield, Connecticut, you're next. Great to have you on Open Line Friday. Hi.
Rush, good morning, and greetings from 58-year-old, recently unemployed conservative in California.
Oh, you're in Fairfield, California. I'm sorry, I misread that.
No problem. This business about Benghazi has really got me set back here, and it's not necessarily, a lot of it is just the ineptitude and untruths coming out of the administration.
Look,
but
there's more than now, Mike. What we're learning here is that there's more than ineptitude. There's a cover up now. There may have been ineptitude at the beginning. I don't think it was ineptitude. I think it was somebody that didn't actively want any American show of force in that region for whatever reason, and didn't believe what he was being told about the mounting threat.
I agree, and that leads to my main point of those 4 Americans being hung out to dry. I stop and I think about all the white crosses on the cliffs over Normandy and the unmarked graves and the stenching islands in the middle of the Pacific and on, and how those people defended us and fought for us, and with knowing that the guy next to him had their back. And I'm afraid that the morale of our folks in the military, our heroes, is going to be hurt. And I don't know if a change of administration is going to actually be able to help that, and if this continues.
Well, a change in administration would, because it would result in different orders, beliefs, behavior. I don't have any doubt about that. But this Benghazi story now, I mean, the Las Vegas Review-Journal, the lead newspaper, has just excoriated Obama, unqualified, incompetent to be commander-in-chief and president. What we know today is that we have been lied to, and were lied to, on purpose. Nobody was mistaken. They strategically, tactically lied. Susan Rice, if somebody could get to her today and have her be honest, I guarantee you she is livid, because she's going to be one of the people whose heads roll. She's going to be a sacrificial lamb when this is all over, when it starts being investigated. But they lied to us from the get-go, and they planned the lie. They knew the moment this attack was taking place. They knew before the attack that it was going to happen. They were warned multiple times, and cables were sent from the consulate that day. That's what we learned this morning from Jennifer Griffin at Fox. A cable was sent that day saying that an attack was being planned, assembled, and put together. Requests for help were made. The ambassador himself sent a cable in August telling everybody in the White House, top level, that this was happening. Al-Qaeda was amassing. And Obama, still to this day, is on the campaign trail using the phrase, Al-Qaeda's on the run. Osama bin Laden is dead. 4 Americans are dead. In instances, some instances, they violated, they were told to stand down. And by the way, when you hear that they were told to stand down, that's not the right terminology. They were told not to help. They were told to stay put. They were told not to offer any defense of the consulate or the ambassador or any of the people there. To say that they were told to stand down doesn't cut it. They were ordered to do nothing. They were ordered not to help. They were ordered not to offer defense. And as we know now, Tyrone mental block. He violated orders. Tyrone Woods violated orders and went anyway because that's the nature of these people. We know that he identified where the mortar fire was coming from. We know that he identified it with a laser. We know the only reason you do that is because he's expecting somebody to bomb that target once he points it out to them. That means he's assuming that he's got air support. He's assuming somebody's up there that's going to take out that mortar. But all that happened was the terrorists were able to identify where he was. He had, by the very act of identifying where it was and lasering it, given up his own location. He was killed with mortar fire from the very installation he thought he was helping to take out. This is, to me, it's unacceptable. And I can only imagine what these family members feel like as they've learned this, along with the rest of us. And I can only imagine what military people in general feel about this. And to have our intelligence insulted with the fact that it was a video, that was spontaneous protest, none of that was true. We were strategically, purposefully lied to. From the highest levels of the regime. A brief profit timeout, and we will be back after this.
Members of the media, do not panic. Your show prep will continue with Rush on the EIB network. Now America's most scintillating talk show, The Tom Daschle Show.
Tom Daschle! Hi, and welcome to the Tom Daschle Show. I'm Tom Daschle. Recently, I've experienced some life changes which have allowed me to take the plunge. Yes, I'm now officially a full-time talk radio host right here on the internet. Tom Daschle! We're simulcasting from our flagship 250-watt powerhouse right here on the reservation. And Little Bear, our trusted engineer, tells me that our 2.5-bit streaming audio is sounding great today. So you shouldn't experience any problems listening today. I want to go back to the question we've been dealing with. Why did the Democrats lose the election? From Tennessee, it's Al again.
Hello, Tom. You know, I was just thinking this morning, since I came closer to winning in 2000 against George Bush, I'm uniquely qualified to say that if I had chosen to run this time, my semester at Divinity School would have come in pretty handy in dealing with the insurgent evangelicals.
I think that's enough. Everybody knows you flunked out of Divinity School, Al.
I chose to flunk out.
And we're going to choose another caller here. James from Louisiana. Hello, James.
I'm telling you, this party must be born again.
So we should repent of our past evil ways and follow the truth?
Heck no, I wasn't born yesterday. I'm just saying we need a new hula dance with a religious grass skirt.
Oh, I see. Like Jimmy Carter.
I am ready to accept your accolades.
James, you sound...
Do not doubt me.
This caller seems to be on every line.
I'm ready to accept your apologies for doubting me.
Let's go to a break.
Do not doubt me. Sorry, I did it again.
See ya. Let's go to a break. You're listening to Tom Daschle! Daschle right here on the Tom Daschle Show on the internet.
Out of the Old West comes a new twist from the producers of Brokeback Mountain. Remakes of your favorite Western classics, destined to be Oscar contenders, like How the West Was Festive, Paint My Wagon, and the golden classic, He Wore a Yellow Ribbon.
What, old chief, can I give you as a token of our friendship?
Me take 'em beads.
Never! They match my hat and my boots.
You'll never forget the boyfriends of Bobby Elder, the magnificent Stephen, or the man who spanked Liberty Valance.
Well, what are you trying to say, Pilgrim?
I want you to be my partner.
Come on, America. Join Hollywood this year as we continue to make fun of ourselves with the first in a series of new Western classics. Watch for them coming soon from the producers of Brokeback Mountain.
Spank me, Liberty! Spank me!
Attention Newsweek readers.
Okay, I got to get the audio for this. We got to get the... I just saw this. A Weekly Standard is quoting Vice President Bite Me as saying, there has never been a day in the last 4 years I've been proud to be his vice president. Now, obviously, it slipped the tongue, but he still slipped the tongue. That's what the Weekly Standard is quoting. It's Joe Biden at a campaign event today. There's never been a day in the last 4 years I've been proud to be his vice president. Bill Clinton, I may be the only guy in America, but I'm more excited than ever before about Barack Obama. Ed Henry, Fox News, has tweeted a photograph of some signs along the route in Ohio Obama took to get to a campaign appearance. The signs say, tell the truth about Benghazi, worse than Watergate, you let them die. Those signs have been... I'm sorry, does this stuff happen with winning campaigns? I guess they had some Bush stuff in 2004. Yeah, I don't want to make too much of it, but man, it's out there. The point is, it is out there. This Benghazi stuff is trickling out to the Drudge headlines. Drivers waiting 6 hours for gas in New York City. Tempers rise in wake of storm. They forgot about us. Misery. Mile-long lines. Price hits $6 gasoline. Residents furious with the Red Cross for offering cookies and hot chocolate, not blankets or clothes. By the way, Trump is sending in a bunch of bottled water. Trump equals private sector. The Red Cross, hot chocolate, and cookies. 2 massive generators power the New York media, not the masses. That's for the marathon. These are generators that I'm talking power like 40 houses or some such thing. Staten Islanders plead for help. We need food. Please don't leave us. WNBC, woman interviewed in high-rise city project says deteriorating conditions, people defecating in hallways. It's happening. This is happening in a media capital of this country. It is happening in an area totally dominated and run by big government types. I mean, remember how they got all over George W. Bush? This is supposed to be big government's proving ground. This is supposed to be when big government shines. This is supposed to be when we're all supposed to see the wonderfulness, the joy, the greatness, the necessity of big government. And what do the leaders actually do? They say they're going to suspend government and regulations in order to speed up the recovery and the help. Except, never mind, they're running the marathon. I'm still amazed.
Electrifying radio on the EIB network. Now a message from President Barack Obama on how he plans to help Americans cope with higher gasoline prices.
My fellow Americans, I'm sure that you, like most Americans, are feeling pinched economically by higher gas prices at the pump. Recent political events in the Middle East have destabilized oil-producing nations, disrupting supply, raising prices, and calling into question America's dependence on foreign oil. As president, I would have preferred a gradual adjustment, but I can't do anything about the high cost of gasoline. But you can. Buy the all-new Chevrolet Volt, Government Motors' first full production electric car for just under $50,000. Consumer Reports said it was the only electric car that GM makes, and that it was capable of going up to 28 miles in the snow. And you can extend that range by taking along an optional 400-pound second battery.
Yes, you can buy an electric car that's slow, fuel-efficient, American-made, and more expensive than a Toyota Prius, even after a $7,500 tax credit.
The Chevrolet Volt. Last month we sold over 281. Who knows how many more we'll sell if gas prices reach an optimum of, say, $15 a gallon.
the Chevrolet Volt. Buy here, buy now.
Is your terror cell living in terror?
Now this word from the New York Times to jihadists everywhere.
Is your safe house not that safe? If you want your sleeper cell to sleep safely, read the New York Times.
Jihadists everywhere depend on the New York Times.
I saved my sleeper cell thanks to the New York Times.
For information you can't get anywhere else.
Did you know your phone calls are traced? Did you know your money transfers are being intercepted?
Now, thanks to the New York Times, you will be safe and secure.
I rerouted my terror funds thanks to the New York Times.
From Tora Bora to Tijuana, terrorists everywhere depend on the New York Times.
Because you'll find all the secret stuff that makes news meaningful to you.
Plus, exciting bonus features.
Daily attacks on the infidels by Maureen O'Dowd and Paul Al Krugman and Tom Al Friedman. Not to mention the entire front page of our newspaper, which is daily attacks on the infidels.
Gift subscriptions available.
We offer at the New York Times quantity discounts for large terror cells, educational discounts for madrasas and terrorist training camps. Read the New York Times and your sleeper cell can sleep safely.
Even in the deepest, darkest cave, you'll be the first to get inside knowledge of what the infidels have in mind to wipe you out.
New York Times, The Infidels Jihad Journal.
Now, a message of fairness.
Okay, folks, the fastest 3 hours in media continues. We've got one more big, exciting broadcast hour to go before our big final weekend, before the upcoming election next Tuesday. And we'll try to get to as many of your phone calls as we can, since it is Open Line Friday. We'll be back before you know it.
Attention EIP affiliates. Stand by for the Rush Limbaugh promo feed. Copyright 2012. EIP Network. Start all recording devices in 3, 2, 1, now.
Rush Limbaugh.
I think the country is in a fight for its life.
Rush.
We're in a fight for our liberty. I mean liberty with a capital L. I mean freedom with a capital F, with 15 exclamation points behind each. We are in a fight for all of that. Our freedom, our liberty for the country as it was founded. This fight to reclaim the country is going to make the war on terror look like a Sunday stroll in Central Park. I think the country is in a fight for its life. We're in a fight for our liberty. I mean liberty with a capital L. I mean freedom with a capital F, with 15 exclamation points behind each. We are in a fight for all of that. Our freedom, our liberty for the country as it was founded. This fight to reclaim the country is going to make the war on terror look like a Sunday stroll in Central Park.
The president works for us, he reports to us, and when he tries to manipulate and politicize people and situations that cross the boundaries of responsible public service, I will call him out.
The Rush Limbaugh Week in Review.
And I don't do it for any other reason than it is the proper role of a responsible citizen. The day it becomes irresponsible to hold public servants accountable, then I could say this country's great experiment in self-governance is over. You know what? I make the mistake of assuming that people are as smart as I am.
Rush Limbaugh.
And I make the mistake of assuming that everybody listens to this show every day and thus is able to understand the context of things that I say. But in truth, recent programs which have featured what people think are attacks on Obama are actually attempts to poke fun and to cause people to stop and think about what the media has become.
This concludes the promo feed. Production directors everywhere. Be with us next time as we make your life easier on the EIB network. Just in time for the 2012 election, All the President's Girlfriend, the new composite classic audio romance novel from America's heartthrob storyteller, Barack Hussein Obama.
The night we met, I used my standard pickup line. I'll bet you can't guess where I'm from.
You'll be fainting every time you hear about his new conquest.
The next morning, she rolled over and told me I was awesome and interesting, and that she wanted to stay with me forever because she loved me more than life itself. I responded that I would help validate her parking.
Feel the passion flow from the pen of this beloved Nobel Prize-winning author.
As she ran away crying, I knew that one day I would finally meet someone who would love me for who I was. And then, just leave me the hell alone.
All the President's Girlfriend, a composite classic audio romance novel, available now in the fiction section, where fine audiobooks are sold. In the past, people who suffered from restless leg syndrome were thought to be unable to lead a healthy, productive life. But here at the Restless Leg Institute, we've helped literally thousands of victims of restless leg syndrome become independent and go on to live happy, successful, productive lives, like Rachel here. Her tap lessons have really changed things, opening doors to many opportunities she would have missed. Or take Matthew here by riding the stationary bicycle equipped with a 200,000 kilowatt generator. Matthew provides a safe, clean alternative energy source to the Institute and 32 surrounding homes. Are you tired yet, son?
No, sir!
Graduates from the Institute include Pele, Elvis Presley, and the entire cast of Riverdance. So if you or someone you know suffers from restless leg syndrome, tell them about the Restless Leg Institute before it's too late. Now, we take you behind the scenes as former President Bill Clinton helps Al Gore massage the facts in the masseuse case.
Al, it's just the police snooping around and asking a few questions. I tell you what, let's go over the action checklist I sent you, and it'll make you feel better.
Okay.
Number 1, hide the evidence.
Bill, she has the evidence.
I mean your evidence. You didn't leave anything at the hotel, did you?
I might have opened a condom or two.
Not from the hotel intimacy basket.
Well, yeah. They're free. And I'm not paying.
Oh, how stupid. Let's move on. Number 2, get your wife to stand by your side to increase doubt in the accuser's story.
Bill, she won't even be seen in the same state with me.
Oh, yeah, that increases doubt, all right. Number 3, quickly and strongly deny anything ever happened.
Check. Did that one already.
When?
Today.
Today? Why not when the story broke?
I thought it would all blow over.
Oh, man, you're already in the denial stage.
Never heard of it.
You are in denial.
No, I'm not.
Now, I wasn't going to do this unless I absolutely had to. Here, put this on.
What is that?
Ted Kennedy's neck brace. He left it to me. After Chappaquiddick, it got him some needed sympathy at a time his career was in serious trouble. Put it on, and we'll turn the tables by saying the masseuse hurt you.
Who?
Al, you're falling fast. I can't do this on my own. I got to get the team in on this.
Be with us next time as we go behind the scenes.
why would Dingy Harry say this? What is this? Breitbart is reporting Dingy Harry, the Senate Majority Leader, pledged to stonewall any attempt by Mitt Romney to pass his agenda if elected. Hi, folks, it's Friday. Let's go. EIB Network.
And now, from sunny South Florida, it's Open Line Friday.
Now, why would Harry Reid say that? Now, let's look at this. In the first thing, we're told that we got to have people walk across the aisle. Bipartisanship. That was Obama, by the way. He was going to end partisanship. Obama was going to bring us all together. Okay, it didn't happen. Obama is the most partisan and divisive president in American history. I'm pretty confident in saying that. The most divisive president in American history, on purpose and by design. Obama does not like half the country. Can I just be blunt? He does not like half the country. He does not like conservatives. He does not like Republicans. And yet, he was the big bipartisan guy. This is a guy who's going to come along and end partisanship and bring people together. Hope, change, all that. You know it. Now, Mitt Romney's out talking about that. Mitt Romney is out talking about building this country back, putting it back together, moving it forward, reversing the trajectory that we're on, reversing the direction, streamlining it and all that. Harry Reid today says he pledged to block Romney's agenda if elected. Now, why say that? It's the Friday before the election. Is Dingy Harry, is this a campaign statement? Campaign strategy? If so, who is it aimed to or at? Senate Democrats are committed to defending a middle class and will do everything in our power to defend them against Mitt Romney's Tea Party agenda. Senate Democrats are committed to defending the middle class. I'm pledging to stonewall any attempt by Romney to implement his agenda. How does that affect voters? Oh, I would think so. I would think the independents would be outraged at something like that. Then the other question, well, why is he saying that? This is stuff to fire up your base, folks. This is the kind of stuff you say to keep the underwear crowd over at Daily Cause and the Democrat Underground happy. This is the kind of stuff you say to keep San Franciscans from jumping off the Golden Gate Bridge at the thought of Romney winning. But this is not... Why is he even contemplating Romney winning on the Friday before the election? Why issue a statement that even contemplates Romney winning? Doesn't that go against the whole purpose of the last 3 days, is to put Obama over the top? So here's two statements. We've got Bill Clinton, who in Lake Worth, Florida today said, I may be the only guy in America, but I'm actually excited about more of Obama. And here's Harry Reid pledging to stop Romney in his tracks. And again, these are the nice people, don't forget. Yes, these are the people who care. These are the people who are gentle, thoughtful, and cooperative, want to work with people, get things done. This is in a contest of who is the most partisan person in American politics. It'd be a close contest between Barack Obama and Harry Reid. Is this toning it down any? I mean, here we are in the midst of the Hurricane Sandy aftermath, and we're trying to bring people together. That's why we're going to run the New York Marathon. That's for you in New York. We're going to bring people together. Harry Reid saying this kind of stuff? It was first posted at an ultra-left website, Talking Points Memo. And I'm sure that this is... I'll answer my own questions. I'm better at it than anybody else is. He's trying to rally his own troops. That's what this is. But it's not coming off it. I don't know how it's coming. It doesn't sound good to me. This is supposed to rally the troops, but it seems like he's afraid of losing. Why even contemplate Romney's victory? Why even be thinking about that? You want to rally the base? You tell them that we're going to go full speed ahead with much more of what you like so much about the first term. You can't wait to implement Obama, the rest of his agenda. You can't wait to work. For some reason, the two big spokesmen for the Obama campaign today cannot speak positively about the outcome Tuesday. They're talking negatively about it. Anyway, folks, it's great to have you back. Rush Limbaugh here, analyzing all this stuff happening on the fly as it happens, and talking to you at the same time. Telephone number, if you want to be on the program, is 800-282-2882, and the email address, lrushpo@eibnet.com. Back to New York and the aftermath and the symbolism over substance of politicians seeking the right optics to make it appear as though they care and are really, really working hard. But I'll tell you what's going to become clear by Sunday is how incompetent most of the leaders in the Northeast are. Remember now, this is when government is supposed to shine. Remember aftermath of Hurricane Katrina? Remember the devastation, all the media people on the roofs and on the highways and the Superdome crying, where are the trailers? Where is FEMA? Where are the rescue helicopters? Where is Bush? Where is Brownie? Remember all that? Well, the implication of that was that somebody competent in government, none of this would be happening. There wouldn't be any looting. There wouldn't be any rapes. There wouldn't be any murders. There wouldn't be any theft. There wouldn't be any homelessness. There wouldn't be any thirsty. There wouldn't be any starving, and people wouldn't be fleeing the city for Houston if we just had somebody competent. But Bush is incompetent, and Brownie's incompetent, and plus they're Republicans, and they don't care. Okay, well, we've got Hurricane Katrina Northeast. And is it any different? The weather is going to make it worse. It's cold. There's no heat. There's no gasoline. There's no food. There's very little water. This is when government's supposed to shine. It's a teachable moment. This is when all that tax money is supposed to be seen, the value, how much it's worth. This is when we find the best and brightest among us. This is when they rise to the top and show us how it's done. This is the moment we've all been waiting for, and we are the moment we've all been waiting for. And what's going to happen is a display of utter incompetence and cluelessness. Yep. Here's a mayor in New York, spent a lot of time criticizing the Second Amendment, making sure that you can't have a Coca-Cola that's any larger than 16 ounces, making sure that you don't have any trans fats in your food, making sure that nobody's smoking tobacco products within 5 miles of you. Yep. Where was the time spent making sure power companies were prepared for major storms? Where were the inspections of hospital backup generators? Where was all the preparation for rising sea levels? Remember now, Bloomberg believes in global warming. Bloomberg endorsed Barry. Bloomberg endorsed Obama yesterday. You know why? One of the 3 reasons he gave? Because Obama's right on global warming. What do global warmers believe? They believe the sea level is rising. polar bears are having to live on smaller and smaller glaciers and ice flows and icebergs and stuff because it's melting out. It's so sweltering hot, don't you know? Yeah, it's warming like crazy out. Global, it's so hot out there. Everything's okay. If you really believe that, and you've been mayor for 11 years, don't you think that you might take steps to prepare your lower Manhattan shoreline for rising sea levels in case of storm? Don't you think if you really believed it, you would prepare for it? No, but don't you dare try to buy something larger than 16 ounces in a cup if it's soft drink to drink. Don't you dare. Or the authorities will come after you. I don't think anybody's ever contemplated or seen the effects of, even after 9/11, of shutting down Manhattan below 34th Street for a week. Do you realize the economic implications of what's going on here? Do you realize, folks, there are going to be businesses south of 34th Street in Manhattan that may not survive? This event, if it's not handled right, this could create its own recession. This could contribute mightily to an all-out national recession. And it's day 3, day 4, and people are still learning things that happened. The sights and the sounds out of Staten Island, for example. People are still trying to, they're still learning. The devastation is not fully known, is my point. And I hearken back to the great teachable moment that this is, because remember, all these people are promising get government out of the way in order to solve the problems. I have to take a brief time out. We'll do it. We'll come back and continue after this.
America's beacon of freedom. Rush on the EIB network.
New from Republican Pictures. Citizen McCain. The true-to-life story of a senator who was willing to go across the aisle.
Senator, when are you coming back?
Legendary were the accomplishments of John Foster McCain. A solid Republican senator, except for campaign finance reform, illegal immigration, tax cuts, Guantanamo.
You forgot global warming.
Having lost in his first bid for the presidency, he wins his party's nomination in 2008 with a new tactic.
I am today what I have always been, a conservative.
Citizen McCain, starring the veteran director John McCain, star of such memorable films as The McCain Mutiny, The Gang of 14, and the popular C-SPAN TV series Maverick.
I don't care if I am the only Republican in this town to vote with Ted Kennedy. He's right.
A potent figure in the media who held dominion over the Senate, McCain is somewhat cautious on the campaign trail.
I believe that the policies of Rosebud are
Rosebud? What does he mean, Rosebud?
He
can't bring himself to say Barack Hussein Obama. Doesn't want to offend anyone.
Citizen McCain, playing everywhere until the first Tuesday in November.
And now, Saving the World with Al Gore Jr.
Hello, this is Albert Gore Jr. And as I said in the New York Times, I, for one, genuinely wish that the climate crisis were an illusion. But unfortunately, the reality of the danger we are courting has not been changed by the discovery of at least 2 very small mistakes in the thousands of pages of careful scientific research. Small mistakes happen every day. Ask Charlie Rangel. He went on vacation and had no idea who was paying for it. Nancy Pelosi thought it was okay to fly friends and family and associates to Washington and to Copenhagen so that they could be near her. Honest mistakes happen all the time. Ask Governor Patterson, who sent a couple of state troopers to a woman's house to deliver a Hallmark card of sympathy, and it was mistakenly caught up in the press as some sort of threat. Well, I say all that to say this, that honest mistakes are made every day by Democrats everywhere. What's a few degrees in temperature either way? Cut me some slack.
Join us next time as we once again save the world with Al Gore Jr. Most Americans think that illegals should head back home.
This is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. I just got an email from somebody who said, Rush, why aren't there National Guard airlifts? You know, if there's no gasoline to drive equipment in and supplies, why not drop food and water from helicopters at strategic points? Get this from the Brooklyn paper. A quote from Bloomberg, National Guard in Coney Island is a bad idea. We don't need it, Bloomberg said. And this was actually Wednesday when he said this. The NYPD is the only people we want on the street with guns. Now, one of the borough presidents, Markowitz, has asked for the National Guard to come in and help out in Brooklyn, demanded the National Guard's help. An hour before Doomberg's press conference, claimed that the NYPD and the fire department are brave, but they're overwhelmed by all the challenges. And there's flooding, there's power outages, and looting. All of our resources have been stretched to the limit, Markowitz said. Borough chief of Brooklyn, in the name of public safety, we need to send more National Guard personnel into Coney Island, Manhattan Beach, Red Hook, other locations. And Bloomberg said, nope, no National Guard. Cops are the only people I want with guns in there. So there's your answer about why they're not airlifting things in. Here's the Joe Biden soundbite. This is in Beloit, Wisconsin.
There's never been a day in the last 4 years I've been proud to be his vice president. Not one single day. Not one single day.
Now, we know he didn't mean to say what he said, but it's still, he said it. He probably meant to say, there's never been a day in the last 4 years that I haven't been proud. That's not what he said. There has never been a day in the last 4 years that I've been proud to be his vice president. Not one. This is doomsday talk. This is the kind of speech that you give when you're retiring or when you've lost it. You know, people say you give your best speeches of a campaign when you're conceding. Well, no, I'm not jumping the gun. Then Obama was in Ohio. This is just moments ago. People are booing in his crowd. Now, I don't think they're booing him. I think he's saying things about Romney and the crowd is booing. And he says, no, don't boo. Voting is the best revenge. Revenge? For what? What? Voting is the best revenge for what? This guy doesn't like us. He doesn't like half of this country. He really did. The Americans for Tax Reform has put out an interesting story. New Obamacare tax form mandates that Americans report personal health ID information to the IRS. Here's why the IRS will require Americans to disclose their personal health ID information starting in 2014. There's a whole new tax form for this. When Obamacare's individual mandate takes effect 2014, all Americans who file income tax returns must complete an additional IRS form. The new form will require disclosure of a taxpayer's personal identifying health information in order to determine compliance with the individual mandate. As confirmed by IRS testimony to the House Committee on Ways and Means, taxpayers will file their tax returns reporting their health insurance coverage and or making a payment. So why will the Obama IRS require your personal identifying health information? Simply put, There's no way for the IRS to enforce Obamacare's individual mandate without such an invasive reporting scheme. So another form is added, your personal health ID. And whether you have insurance or whether you're going to pay the fine. I have, I mentioned Brian Williams in the beginning of the program. He said some really typically uninformed things last night on Rock Center, and I had some responses to it. I always thought every time at HR, you back me up on this. Every time we've been around Brian Williams, he's nice as he can be. He's funny. He's been respectful. But something's happened to NBC, not just MSNBC, but something happened at whole umbrella NBC network. And he rakes me over to Kohl's yesterday for having a little fun with Obama and Christie and claiming that I'm not in favor of bipartisanship. And I got a lot of emails from people, Rush, you didn't really deal with that strongly enough. You laughed about it. Well, that's what I do with most of them. But a lot of people, it's really, you just can't let that stuff go by. If you're going to comment on it, you got to go all the way. All right. Fine. Brian Williams, since you saw fit to misrepresent me on your great show last night, let me ask you, Brian, have you watched your network lately? Have you watched your sister or brother, whichever network it is, MSNBC lately? I mean, you guys have your own mess to kind of clean up there. Because you and your colleagues, you're not only destroying news and journalism in this country, you're not even doing your job. Does Benghazi ring a bell to any of you at NBC? Does that name alert you to anything? I know it's not as cool as Iran-Contra or Watergate or Katrina. Those all involve Republicans. But Brian, 4 Americans died. As it turns out, unnecessarily. They were murdered, Brian. And people are trying to get answers, and NBC doesn't care. In fact, NBC is helping to cover it up. Did you ever think that you would be compared to Woodward and Bernstein helping Nixon cover up Watergate? Because that's what NBC's doing. NBC, and they're not alone. ABC is also doing everything it can to keep Benghazi out of the public realm. Neither your nightly news show, your network, sister network seem to care about this. You certainly aren't investigating it like a handful of journalists in this country are. And look how you think Obama and Christie get along on the big issue. But this isn't about politicians getting along for 90 minutes or 48 hours. This is about getting help to people. It's about getting help to people fast. It's not about whether or not the appearance on a beach for a half hour helps Obama. That's not what that was. It shouldn't have been about that. But it is to the folks at NBC. How does that help Obama going out there with Chris? It's not what this is about. Is your terror cell living in terror?
Now this word from the New York Times to jihadists everywhere.
Is your safe house not that safe? If you want your sleeper cell to sleep safely, read the New York Times.
Jihadists everywhere depend on the New York Times.
I saved my sleeper cell thanks to the New York Times.
For information you can't get anywhere else.
Did you know your phone calls are traced? Did you know your money transfers are being intercepted?
Now, thanks to the New York Times, you will be safe and secure.
I rerouted my terror funds thanks to the New York Times.
From Tora Bora to Tijuana, terrorists everywhere depend on the New York Times.
Because you'll find all the secret stuff that makes news meaningful to you.
Plus, exciting bonus features.
Daily attacks on the infidels by Maureen O'Dowd and Paul Al-Krugman and Tom Al-Friedman. Not to mention the entire front page of our newspaper, which is daily attacks on the infidels.
Gift subscriptions available.
We offer at the New York Times quantity discounts for large terror cells, educational discounts for madrasas and terrorist training camps. Read the New York Times and your sleeper cell can sleep safely.
Even in the deepest, darkest cave, you'll be the first to get inside knowledge of what the infidels have in mind to wipe you out.
New York Times, The Infidels Jihad Journey.
Now, another bright idea from Barack Obama. Paygo. With Paygo, you'll be an important part of something way bigger than yourself, the federal government.
In 5 short months and $11 trillion later, it has come to my attention that we need to be fiscally responsible. We need to actually pay for our new initiatives as we go forward.
Paygo is not just another tax and spend plan by the Democrats in Congress. It's something different. It's spend, then tax.
Now, some people have questioned our ability to be responsible with your money. They say that we have no idea what we are doing just because our first stimulus plan isn't working, or because we bailed out Chrysler just to give it away to the unions. Maybe it's because we can't give away treasury bonds and mortgage interest rates are shooting through the roof. It could be because we have record unemployment that keeps going up, or that North Korea makes fun of me.
Ask your representative about Paygo before it's too late. New from Capitol Records, Fritz Hollings.
There's corruption everywhere out there.
And James Carville.
That's right. Corruption at the highest level.
Too much corrupting going on out there.
Dueling Bozos.
We all know what's causing it.
Hollings and Carville together for the first time.
So much corrupting going on there, and it's even corrupted me.
Singing the only tune they know.
Yeah, everybody's guilty. I mean, come on.
Nothing we can do about it, no matter where we go. We go to breakfast, we go to Wednesday afternoon square dances.
We need to change the law.
I never even knew the word exacerbate until I came to Washington. I went down to that barbecue.
Wasn't that in the Star Report?
Why was LBJ here? Who the hell cares anymore anyway? All I know is that it was corrupt then and it's exacerbating now.
Yeah, all they're out there doing is talking about Buddhist monks.
They found this woman guilty. Guilty of what?
So what are you doing about it?
So what am I doing? I'm trying to pass a constitutional amendment to make sure that nobody can give any money to politicians.
Especially politicians that fly the Confederate flag.
I flew that flag, I flew it proudly.
That the
as far as I'm concerned, George Bush is the one who's got to explain it. That's how out of whack it is. It's so corrupt, so exacerbating that a breach truck had to bring in a pork-flowing barbecue with a bunch of contributors and nobody who's never met. Until we get going, day after day, nothing's going to get
Dueling Bozos. Available wherever this record is sold.
And next time you look out your window, look at your windows and your window coverings. Take a time to notice that. We have a new sponsor here at the EIB Network, Blinds.com. They do amazing work with blinds and shades, shutters and drapes for your home and your business. Snerdley's office here at the EIB Southern Command has some new shutters. And like everything that Blinds.com will make for you, they shared free color samples to pick from. They gave us great advice on how to precisely measure so that it was right the first time. Blinds.com makes a great product. They make it available to you at a great price. Great American entrepreneurs. And their prices crush the competition at home improvement stores, by the way. And they've made their reputation by the kind of customer service they provide. If you ask any of their customers, try this. They'll tell you about the conversations with the design expert that they choose to work with. They'll tell you how the window coverings, whatever they are, shades, blinds, drapes, whatever, they fit perfectly. They'll tell you that the window coverings were shipped super fast. And they'll tell you about hearing from the CEO after the entire experience, who is not calling looking for a compliment. He's calling to find out how they can improve the next time. CEO calls every job when it's completed. This company is an American success story, Blinds.com. It was started 25 years ago. I'm surprised it's thrived this long without me. But I'm going to tell you, they're going to skyrocket now. 25 years without me. Think of what's going to happen now since they started with us. They focus on the customer. Evidence of that is that they are now sponsors of this program. Visit Blinds.com and check out their freebies, and check out the color samples, the free shipping, the no sales tax in most states. Blinds.com, where prices crush the competition. Blinds.com. It's the latest, greatest option for you. Here is Mark in Fort Myers, Florida. Welcome to Open Line Friday. Hi.
Rush, thanks for taking my call.
You bet, sir.
Listen, I've been in healthcare for over 30 years, and recently I had a heart attack 2 weeks ago, so now it's getting kind of personal for me.
Wait. You had a heart attack a couple weeks ago?
Yes, I did.
You did? Okay.
I'm home on medical leave right now. That's why I had the opportunity to call you. But anyway, I'm very concerned that if Obamacare cannot be repealed, that a lot of smaller institutions, rural area hospitals and such, may be forced to shut down because reimbursements are going to be so low that they cannot afford to stay open. What do you think about this?
Well, I think if we don't win the Senate, we're not going to repeal Obamacare. That's correct. I mean, all the rest of it's academic. We have to win the Senate. I mean, you saw dingy Harry. This little sniveling little is out there. He issued a statement today at Talking Points Memo, which is a far left-wing website, blog, pledging to do everything he can to stop Romney from implementing his agenda. Now, why say that? There's only two reasons to say that. A, you're losing, and you are trying to fire up your base to show up, because that statement is not helpful. That's not going to help you with independence. You know that folks, remember that ad we played for you with the singing kids? They took it down. The Democrats removed that ad from YouTube. You can't see it, but we've still got the audio. They were, but see, this is it started to hurt. They don't get it. Dingy Harry doesn't understand that if what he says is really amplified throughout this country, it's not helpful to the Democrats. They are not the majority in this country. But he's out there pledging to just stop Romney's agenda in its tracks. Well, that's not what the American people, particularly people who vote for Romney. So we're not going to be able to get anything done with Harry Reid there. He's going to have to go as Senate majority. We've got to win the Senate, or all the rest that you brought up out there, Mark, is academic. No, that ad was started to hurt them. See, but they thought they'd hit a home run with it. They were proud of it. They thought the little kids singing about how their parents had screwed up the country and screwed up the planet. And the ocean was just nothing but a sea of oil. And the atmosphere was frying, all these horrible, rotten things. And it was a serious Democrat advertising agency to put the whole thing together. This is who they really are. They tell us. All you need is a courage to accept it. They tell us who they are. And now here's Dingy Harry doing the same thing. Mark, thanks much. This is Irina from Ackworth, Georgia. Great to have you. It's Open Line Friday. You're next. Hello.
Hello. My name is Irina, and I appreciate that you took my call, and I want to say special thank you to your team. They were very nice to me. I was born in Moscow. I came here 14 years ago. I was 35 years old. Now I'm 50. And I want to tell you, I'm very optimistic. I feel with all my guts that Romney will win this election. But I still have fear, and I'm terrified by seeing what's going on 4 years in this country. I'm terrified that people can put an Obama in Oval Office back again.
See, people who have lived under socialism know. You've lived under this stuff, and so you have a palpable fear when you see it starting to grow here. Am I right?
I see whole symptoms rush. They are there. And what terrified me, the people. I communicate with many people, and I see how uneducated and unopen-minded they are. They cannot believe it, what they're hearing. And
Irina, the schools in this country do not teach the evils of socialism. They teach just the opposite. They sing its praises. Little kids in America that are taught that it's the only route to fairness and equality and all of that wonderful good stuff. Big government, command and control, economy, authority, this sort of stuff. This is what kids are taught. I mean, look at them. The young kids that you see believe this stuff. The adults in Hollywood, they fall for it. It is seductive for people who don't like competition.
You know, Rush, I totally agree with you, but sometimes in the back your common sense, sometimes your heart can tell you when people lie, when they are not. And those celebrities, trust me, if they make a movies and they play in certain characters, it doesn't mean anything. People have to understand it, that they know exactly how fly airplane if they play in the pilot. Yeah. Absolutely not. And even celebrities who travel all over the world and they see the life in another countries, they have to be smart and understand that Obama using them. Using minority groups to get to the point that they elect him. And question only one, do they understand when he used them, what happened after that?
I actually am enjoying this. Do you people understand what you're hearing here? Here is somebody who grew up under it. Here's somebody who lived it. Irina's too. She's scared and she can't believe the people in this country were falling for it. That's what I love this. Because she can't believe people are falling for this. She lived it. She grew up. She was born into it. She escaped it. And now it's caught up with her again. She thought she had outrun socialism, but it's caught her. And she's scared. Irina, you're in the right place, and we're going to beat this back. We are going to beat it. That's what this whole campaign's been about. It's what this weekend is going to be about. I'm flattered that you're in the audience. I'm glad you called. It's the voice of experience there, folks. The voice of experience. Celebrities don't know anything. She's right. I appreciate the call. I got to run, though, because of the constraints of the programming format, and there aren't too many busy broadcast minutes left, so I got to go.
The center of the radio universe. Rush on the EIB network. What college do you dream of sending your kids to? Yale, Harvard, Princeton?
Forget it. Those are the universities of yesteryear. The school of the future is COC.
Community Organizer College.
I'm a graduate, and I just took control of General Motors. And now I'm thinking of taking over Chrysler, too. Maybe. Or selling it to an Italian bicycle company, I think.
Want your kids to run a giant company? Or even an entire industry, like healthcare, banking, or insurance? Enroll him or her at COC, Community Organizer College.
Do you want your darlings to have trillions of dollars of money to spread around? Apply to Community Organizer College. Our teachings are based on a major breakthrough in education. It's not what you know, it's what people think you know.
At COC, Community Organizer College, we don't waste time teaching English, history, math, science, or business management.
We teach cool. We teach pompous. We teach teleprompter, doublespeak, seducing the media.
Community Organizer College.
Where your kids can learn to run a company or a country. Who knows? Maybe the entire planet.
Community Organizer College. Capacity is limited. Better act now. For an application, dial 1-800-ACORN-COC.
It's not what you know. It's what people think you know.
And now, Andy Griffith for Obamacare.
1965. A lot of good things came out that year, like Medicare. And now we got us Obamacare. And this year, Just like always, you're going to have your guaranteed benefits right up until the time you get sick. So all you old angry white folks out there joining the tea parties and protesting and all, just calm down and be a good cracker. Good cracker. Tell them the new rules, Barney. Well, you see, it's like this. Here in Washington, everybody has to play by the rules. And we've developed a rule book just for you there at home. 62,528 new rules to help you through the process of healthcare in an orderly, organized fashion. Rule number 1. There are no peanut butter and jelly sandwiches allowed in any hospital, day or night, 24/7, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Rule number 2. If any named insured of a qualified plan gets sick, he or she must fill out request form 24/7.
For more information on Obamacare and how it affects those 65 and older, just get sick and you'll find out. Capitol Records presents the newest Southerner around, Howard Dean singing Songs of the Southland.
Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-ay. I know your necks are red, but to me, you're okay.
Howard Dean lifting his voice in praise of the South.
I got those trucks with the flag decals singing Polly Wolly Doodle all the day.
Reaching out to the sons of the Confederacy.
Oh, I really can't stand the land of cotton. They're too patriotic and the food is rotten. Vote for me, vote for me, vote for me. Dixieland.
Howard Dean doing his best to come off as a true son of the South.
Well, I'm proud to be a metrosexual from Montpelier.
Unforgettable renditions of Southern classics.
Oh, the redneck cracker sings his song, doo-dah, doo-dah. And for the votes I'll play along all the doo-dah day.
Howard Dean's Songs of the Southland. Available on 8-track at truck stops, flea markets, and other fine retailers everywhere.
Stephen in Daytona Beach, as we head back to the phones here on Open Line Friday. Great to have you here, sir. Hello.
Hey, Rush. Thanks for having me. I'm a first-time caller. I got out of the Army last year. I was in Afghanistan from June of 08 to September of 09 with the United States Army. And I worked in intelligence where we watched drone videos for any type of military operation that involved coalition forces. With this Benghazi issue, if the President of the United States, which I know for a fact he's watching from up to the second to where he's able to see what's happening as it's happening, if he was able to see
wait a minute. Wait. We don't know that. We know he knew. We don't know he was in the Situation Room. We know he was in there for Bin Laden. And they put out a Situation Room photo for the hurricane aftermath, Hurricane Sandy. But we don't know. And I'm serious about that. We don't know if he cared enough about it to convene. We know that all the agencies knew. We know the CIA knew. We know the State Department knew. We knew that all the terror group people in the White House knew. We knew that top of the chart was informed about it. But I don't know that they convened the Situation Room. That's what I think is yet to leak. Is if he was watching this in the Situation Room and didn't do anything, that's where you're headed with this, right?
Right. What I was getting at is whoever was watching this, and I know somebody from higher level, like you said, is watching this. They would have been able to have an appropriate response militarily in the need of a dire situation, and it looks like that. Either they were denied or they were just left abandoned or whatever happened. The point is there's military options to go in and assist with this.
Stephen, they were denied.
Right.
They were denied. They were denied 3 times. Tyrone Woods asked 3 times. The consulate asked twice. Once in August and once that day. That's what we learned this morning. A cable was sent from the consulate to Washington. Al-Qaeda is amassing outside. Al-Qaeda is preparing an attack. It was never a protest. It was never something spontaneous, bunch of hooligans that got out of control. It was never a video. It was always a terrorist military operation. It was strategized. It was executed. It was watched in real time. Requests for aid were repeatedly denied. And not only were the requests denied, they were ordered to do nothing in terms of offering assistance and help. This is outrageous. Pick any military operation you can think of and imagine the commander-in-chief ordering forces not to defend other Americans under attack. It doesn't happen. It did happen here. And the media in this country has helped cover it up for the purpose of aiding and abetting the re-election of the commander-in-chief. They did ask. They pleaded. And in fact, Mr. Woods, the Navy SEAL who died, thought that he did have air cover. Otherwise, there's no way he would have pointed his laser at the mortar because he gave up his own location. He was identifying himself. He would not have painted that target unless he thought somebody was going to take it out. There was no fog of war. There was no confusion here. What we are in the middle of is the fog of cover-up. Pure and simple. You know, folks, when news stories come out like the unemployment percentage, the new jobs report today, everybody jumps in and starts writing stories about it. Pressure to be first in breaking stories, then pressure to meet deadlines, find unique perspectives. Reporters will tell you why they're strapped for internal resources on fact-checking and why they sometimes have to rush and get it wrong and so forth. Heritage Foundation, in fact, the one of their blogs today put out a fabulous analysis of the unemployment number that came out today and the percentage and the raw numbers behind it, and they put it in perfect perspective. The Heritage Foundation spells out the fact that we are on the verge of another recession, that the jobs created here are not even enough to keep up with the population growth, meaning we don't have enough jobs being created to stay at 7.9% unemployment. We're not creating jobs. We're losing the overall number of jobs in the country, the labor force participation rate. Heritage Foundation has it all. Well, most of the media gets covered on the horse race, or covers most of the horse race stuff, or just the 7.9 number. Heritage digs deep, finds the true number of people out of work. It's 14.7%. That's the real unemployment number. And if you believe in supporting an organization that is devoted to truth and takes the arrows, and if you'd like to be able to access their work product, their scholarship, you should join Heritage. $25 will get you in. And you help sustain this great bunch of people and their work. JoinHeritage.org is the website where you do that. $25 a year gets you started. That's all. More if you want. JoinHeritage.org.
America's Anchorman, Rush, on the EIB Network. Welcome to How Gullible Are You? Now, with today's questions, here's your genial host, Rush Limbaugh.
Did you believe Bill Clinton when he said, "I did not have sex with that woman, not a single time, ever. I never asked anybody to lie"? Did you believe Bill Clinton? Did you believe Bob Torricelli when he denied all the things he had to leave the Senate for? Did you believe David Axelrod when he said Obama and Blagojevich discussed his Senate replacement? Did you believe Obama's Axelrod when he said he misspoke about Obama and Blagojevich having that discussion? Did you believe Jesse Jackson Jr.
when he said he met with Blagojevich for 90 minutes and pay to play never came up. When Obama said things will get better, did he mean it? Or did he misspeak?
Now, let's see how you scored with How Gullible Are You?
If you answered yes to all 5, you are a liberal for life, or you are a drive-by journalist. If you answered yes to 2 or 3 of these questions, you are a moderate. And there remains hope for you if you remain a regular attendee at classes here at the Limbaugh Institute. If you answered no to all 5, you are grounded in reality and are thus cursed, because you will be forever hounded, frustrated, and driven to near insanity by the gullible, who did pass this test.
Join us next time for How Gullible Are You? This has been an EIB production. Want to lead an environmentally friendly lifestyle, but your SUV and powerboat get in the way? Introducing the EIB Carbon Credit Card. With the EIB Carbon Credit Card, for every dollar you spend on yourself, an equal amount is spent on holistic carbon set-off projects, like planting trees along the border with Mexico, to reforest the Southwest, and create an impassable barrier.
We're lost, amigos. Let's go home.
You can be part of creating kelp farms in the ocean, teaching dolphins to feed penguins, harnessing the rays of the sun to power a windmill. And best of all, the EIB Carbon Credit Card isn't just for people like you. It's also great for governments, too. Go ahead, buy a half-decaf cafe latte and comfort a whale. Buy a sweater and send life-saving ice to a polar bear cub. Or send up the space shuttle and reforest New Mexico. You can save the Earth with the new EIB Carbon Credit Card. Do you suffer from affluenza?
That's it, my friends. We're totally out of time, out of busy broadcast moments here on the EIB network, but just make it through the weekend. Everything's cool. Stay focused. Stay busy, and we'll be back Monday. Whatever happens over the weekend, don't sweat it. We'll put it all back together if it needs to be. See you then. Thanks for being with us today.